Hello and welcome to Race Day Live on SupercrossLive.com. We are here inside Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan for round 12 of the 2015 Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship. Welcome to the show, folks. My name is Andy Boyer. I'm your host, and beside me, as always, is former Factory Supercross legend Jim Hollywood Holly.
Well, it's good to be here, Andy. And can you believe it? It's already round 12. But you know what?
It's been awesome.
I want to go back because we have an awesome video that recaps of what went on those first 11 rounds. And I'm talking about, you know, everyone forgets Kenny Roczen's injured, but Kenny Roczen was dominating until he had that incident. You know, a lot of first-time winners. So let's take a look at this amazing video.
The moment for the beginning of the season is right now. Banging bars and fighting to get to the first corner. It's Andrew Short at the front with Roczen right alongside. Here he comes, Ken Roczen to the finish line. He wins the season opener. Two of the youngest, brightest riders in the field battling for the win here in Arizona. Eli Tomac wins it. Here we go. Anaheim live on Fox Sports 1. Oh, Canard jumps right into the back of Reed. Checkered flag awaits. Here he comes, winning 2 in Anaheim so far in 2015. Here we go from Oakland. Oh, and Roczen's pretty fast right here to the inside. Clears Reed, then makes a big mistake. He looked back to see what happened to Reed, and Roczen is down and not feeling good. Reed cuts across. Here's Canard. Checkered flag. Trey Canard is a winner once again. Final lap. Tomac trying Roczen again. Pushes past. Dungey has executed it perfectly, and he's got his first win of 2015. Gate drop from San Diego. Alessi trying to get the whole shot. Here he is, and the crowd's starting to get antsy as they can sense the battle picking up heat. The Team Honda HRC rider, checkered flag, and Trey Canard wins the first one here.
Tonight, for sure, the Davey Millsaps that we saw a couple years ago. Right.
Oh! And down he goes. He loops out, and away goes Canard. He's the winner as he lights the candles with a heel clicker in Dallas. Anderson tries to go the outside, but look at Reed.
Reed looks back over his right shoulder over the triple. Wants to know exactly where Dungey is.
1 corner to go. The crowd on his feet. John Reed wins Atlanta. Reed trying to escape the clutches of Pike and Dungey. He bobbles. Pike's right there. They look at each other. Oh, what a whip from Pike.
There's some different lines starting to develop. Oh, Reed goes
Reed
into the
makes a big mistake. Pike is not giving anybody any room. Dungey comes flying up the inside. And Canard tries to get back inside as they almost go 3 wide. Here he comes. Ryan Dungey wins it here in Atlanta. Dungey going for the lead. Trying to get around him, and does. Here's Baggett. Canard was 11th after the start. Again, Baggett. Dungey wins the 450 as he takes his 5th victory of the year.
What an amazing video that Doug Cabrera put together from Feld Motorsports. I mean, it kind of brings you up to speed on where we are here tonight in Ford Field, round 12, like you said, Andy. And I just, you know, who can say it? I mean, I kind of, you know, went down and I got this thing, and I'm just going to bring it up for a second, but it's the Orange Crush. I mean, I know they have the Orange Brigade for the amateur program at KTM, but I mean, Marvin Muskin and Ryan Dungey I mean, they're killing it out here. They're just crushing it, and we're going to call them the Orange Crush now.
Yeah, but what's crazy about that video, you know, people have short memories. I know I do myself sometimes, but you got to remember, 4 different winners in 5 races to start this thing off. Ken Roczen wins the first 2 out of 3. Then Canard catches fire, wins Oakland, wins San Diego. Things are just going crazy, and all of a sudden, you know, the diesel catches fire and starts rolling, and now the Orange Crush is taking over. Now he's won 3 in a row. What's going to happen now? We're in the meat of the series. A lot can happen.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people forget, you know, the man who sits 3rd in the points, Eli Tomac, he got his first in Phoenix there.
Right.
We got a chance to see that. That was the first of his career in that 450. A lot of people thought, okay, well, now Eli, but, you know, he's been inconsistent. I mean, last weekend he had that problem in the main event. Indianapolis, you know, had that crash, but prior to that, he'd had a couple consistent podiums, but and he's always fast, and he was here fast in Ford Field. I believe it was he turned a 54.2. So Eli Tomac's been fastest in that free practice.
Yeah, he's fast. They're all fast, but we have a huge show for you folks today. I'm super excited about our guest list. One of the best ones we've had all season long. Starting us off right here, you know, you talked to Kevin Windham earlier, all the way down there, the Raging Cajun in Louisiana.
Yeah, there he is, and he's excited to be in there. You know, it's the Amsoil Arena Cross in New Orleans, his hometown there, and he gets a chance to go out there and do a parade lap, some stoppies. But, you know, Kyle Regal, he's got 6 points. It's that race to the championship now, and the finale is going to be at South Point in Las Vegas, Nevada on May 1st.
Michigan Mafia in effect. Nick Way, man, you know, this is his career's winding down. This may or may not be the last time he does the tour. It might be the last time here in Detroit. So he's always fun to talk to. Does his you know, opening ceremonies, parade lap, and explains the track. I can't wait to have Nick on the show. Great personality.
Yeah, he's a great guy for the sport. Been around a long time, like you said.
JT Money, you know, look at this guy, journeyman pro. Has just been after it, had a great solid career, but what really inspires me about him is the way he's carried himself after his motocross career.
Well, you talk about it, his nickname, JT Money. He's still making money in the motorcycle industry, but he's not on a motorcycle. He's off the motorcycle, like you said, working with Fly and other guys, and just a great ambassador for the sport.
He's a great rider. And, of course, here's a great rider. It's Brock Tickle. You know, he's had a great season, great story, great comeback. Going to be cool to have him and his Soaring Eagle team manager, not team manager, but sponsor, Raul Venegas, is going to join us here. And there's Christina Denny from the Cycle Trader Rock River Yamaha squad. She wears a lot of different hats. They call her Springsteen because she's the boss.
She is the boss, and that's probably the smile after Oakland when Alex Martin got the first podium for those guys.
Right. There's Miss 5-time Supercross, Diana Dahlgren. Very cool story. You know, it's what's cool. She's good that she does Miss Supercross, but she rides dirt bikes. She runs a bar. She's a cover girl. It's going to be great. We can't have to have her with us.
Yeah, I'm excited she's going to be here. I mean, she's a busy woman. I mean, she's engaged now, and she's got a bar in Spokane, Washington. So she's a busy gal, but she's making time for us and Race Day Live and for the fans. It'll be great to have her on.
And then, of course, the great one, Jean-Michel Bayle, the Mr. 1991, as I call him, the only guy that's ever won the 250 Supercross, 250 Outdoor, and the 500cc National Championships, and he dominated that season. Just an honor to be able to have him come up on the show, and I can't wait to talk to him.
Yeah, it was interesting, and when we get him on the show, I'm really excited. You asked, do you know him very well? And I said, yeah, I was in Japan with him, and we'll talk about that story when he comes on. But just another guy that's a phenomenal athlete. I mean, you know, after his Supercross and motocross career, he won some world championships before he came to America, always pushing the envelope. He goes over to Europe and starts riding MotoGPs. Incredible athlete on a motorcycle.
Yeah, he's the man. You know, and there's another story that's starting to brew. Before, in the 250 West, Cooper Webb really had that series under control. He won 4 main events. Then in the 250 East, Marvin Musquin has been unstoppable. He's won, you know, he's won 3 in a row right now, has a big lead. So we're already starting to try to think about what's going to happen in Vegas between those two, you know. Who do you like?
Well, and you look at it here, you can see the graphic, East versus West, but, you know, you talk about Webb, you know, it started out slow at Anaheim, had that 7th, but then caught fire. But the thing that I like about Marvin Musquin is you look at that laps led, 45 laps. You do the math, there's been 75 main events in that 250 on the East Coast here. He's led 45 of them, but the thing also that I like with Marvin is out of all the podiums, He's won all the races but one, and that one he got a second in, so he is clearly dominating that East Coast. That's why I look forward to May 2nd, Las Vegas, Nevada, Sam Boyd Stadium, that East-West shootout. The bragging rights are on the line. I remember back in the old days, Ricky Carmichael and Kevin Windham going at it. It's
taking
just a phenomenal race. Yeah, I mean, those guys banged bars, and you know, I'm surprised they didn't get a black flag back in those days, because those guys were banging on each other. I enjoyed it.
You know, what's really cool here in Detroit, we've had kind of a couple conservative track designs the last 2 or 3 weeks. Well, we don't have one this weekend. This one's crazy. This one even goes up into the grandstands. It's a throwback to the old Pontiac track. We've got huge whoop sections, really, really technical rhythm sections. It's going to be great. Let's go take a look at the Kawasaki track map.
Well, here we go, Andy, with that track map, and you're going to see it's going to be a starting line that's a little bit short here in Detroit, and you're going to make that left-hander immediately. You're going to get right into a timing section where you can do it a couple different ways. Another 180 at the end of that, where you're going to come into a huge timing section. If you can triple out of this left-hander and then hit the face of the step-on, land on the backside of that one, hit the face of the other one, and jump all the way into that right-hander after that. Then you're going to come back, and it's going to be a little bit of a whip there over the triples and the whoops after it, but they changed it up. The whoops are before the triple into this nice left hand, all sand. You got to hit the double before you go over the Monster Energy finish line. That's going to be a hard section. You go down here, you make a right-hander, and you're coming up to the where they run up into the stands here. You carry that speed. If you can double this and triple right here, and then double up into that corner, brake slide around that left-hander there. If it's not too wet, you're going to rock it down. They got a nice little double there. Going to lead you right into a gnarly set of whoops, and after that, if you can hit this section here in this double after, make that turn, you're going to come right back onto the starting line straight away, and that's a lap here at Ford Field. It's going to be a good one. Earlier, it was dry. The Feld Dirtworks guy, or Feld track crew and the Dirtworks guys, they put in the moisture into the track, and you're seeing it right here as the B250 guys are on the track right now.
Yeah, you can tell, Jim, like you just said, they put a lot of water down, and it looks to me a lot like Phoenix when they did that, but it was dry last night. Look at that sand section, multiple lines. That thing's deep. It's really deep. We were down there earlier, but now to see the bikes on the track right now in the 250B qualifying, the track's working in. We got some ruts, technical rhythm sections. It's going to be a great night of racing, man.
Well, and that's that triple double here. You're going to double, and you're going to head up into the stands there. And I don't know if they'll be able to brake slide because it's still kind of tacky up into that section. But if it gets a little bit dry and a little bit marbly up there, you're able to get that motorcycle. You hit that rear brake, get it to slide up to the apex of the turn, let go of the brake, and grab a big handful and come down it.
I like that turn right there. You know, it's kind of crazy. We have technical rhythm sections and big whoop sections, and we're going in the stands and stuff. But when it comes to racing, a flat corner, that produces so much passing, you know, and great racing.
Well, it's the guy who's going to be, you know, pull the trigger on those flat corners and get underneath the guy and start
move him out of the way.
Move him out of his way. And, you know, traction here tonight, I think it's going to be at an all-time premium, you know, because they have to get that water into the track. You can see it's a little bit greasy, a little bit sloppy out there as we're going into the sand section. Nice 2 lanes there. Look, right there, the classic, that outside line work, just like at Southwick, Massachusetts. Carry that momentum around in the sand.
And leading him around right now is Aaron Goley, number 385. The Goley brothers are out there again. There's Vicky Golden, and you'll notice she's in the B group qualifying this time around.
Well, and I think that's going to be beneficial to her. You know, it's time to pull the trigger now as you see her going into that sand section. I know Kenny Bell's with her. He flew out. A lot of guys and supporters of Vicky Golden flew out here. I know Kurt Binke thinks she's going to make the main event. She was so close last weekend to making that main event. She was actually in the tunnel, geared up, ready to go, just in case she was an alternate. And I talked to her, we talked to her yesterday, and she said that, hey, listen, you know, if I got in last week, that was great. I get experience, but I really didn't earn it. I was an alternate, and I got in because somebody else didn't ride the heat race. And she wants to make it. I think tonight here at Ford Field, we can see history being made by having the first woman in Supercross line up for a heat race.
Hey, I'm proud of her. She's shown progression. She's gotten faster. You know, it's about getting into the night show and having her out on the starting line for a heat race. You know, the first female to ever do that. That's going to be a great story, but there's a lot of other stories. We're not just going to cover Vicky. We want to wish her all the luck in the world, but, you know, big old group of riders right here. With 5 minutes to go in the 250B qualifying number 1, it's Stewart, Goley, Carnow, the other Goley brother, and he just dropped down to 5th, actually. That's your top 5. That's Potter, number 395.
Going to see Preston Mull down there, number 78 in that 12th. I'm looking for Vicky Golden, 15th right now, a 109.1 for Vicky Golden, the fastest being a minute 0.6. So a little bit off, but like I said, it's early in this qualifying session, but hopefully she can go out there and kind of stay. She can stay consistently into that top 15 or 18 or so. She'll have a great shot of making that main event tonight.
Yeah, and she hasn't blitzed the whoops yet, but she looks good in the rhythm sections. But once she blitzes the whoops, she'll drop a couple seconds off that time. But Taylor Potter, who's leading these guys around right now from Australia, is a full second and, well, he's a second and a half faster than everybody else right now. So number 395, Taylor Potter. Let's throw some love to his sponsors: Chaplin Honda, Mad Jim, Vortex Ignition, Bridgestone, Fly, Scott. So that's
yeah,
good.
we just saw the white flag with the red cross out there. One of the riders being down there. That's going to take a little bit of a wind out of some of the guys and girl out there. Vicky Golden out of their sailboat, but hopefully the rider's okay. It looks like he just they're getting his bike off the track. He was just in that weird spot right there, and yeah, they'll be fine. But you mentioned Taylor Potter there, and it's great to see him. The man from Australia, did a piece on him last year, and just he's got a good work ethic. I got to see if his girlfriend still is mechanic. She was spinning the wrenches over there and doing a great job. But it's nice, you know. They see a lot of the Chad Reed and the Byrne, Michael Byrne, and all the guys coming over here, and the Moss brothers and other riders from Australia and New Zealand. Jackson Richardson and other guys. So they want to come over and they want to keep that Aussie flag flying in Supercross.
Lots of fast guys from Oz, yeah, for sure. There's one of the goalie brothers. Preston Mull right now jumps up to the top with a 58.8. So Preston put in a heck of a lap there. 2 seconds faster than the field he is. Not surprising. You know, Mr. Mull knows how to get around these tracks. He's been pretty impressive here on the East Coast.
Yeah, we you know, seeing how we're down under, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Ben Townley from New Zealand, I think he got his first 250 win here in Detroit, if I'm not mistaken.
A lot of first wins here.
Yeah.
And, it's a great place to race. Everybody's excited to be here. The city was buzzing last night. There's already a lot of people coming in here into the stands, and going to be a good show on Fox Sports 1 tonight. That's right, we're on Fox Sports 1, so everybody get ready to see round 12. Still kind of hard to believe, 12 rounds in a flash, bam, you know, we just got to this point, and I really want to reiterate how crazy this season's been and how much action we've seen, and you can't get around the fact of how good Ryan Dungey and Marvin Muskin are right now. You pulled out your can of Orange Crush, but the bike's working good, they're racing unbelievably good, and they're winning these things with some pretty comfortable margins.
Yeah, and the thing about it that I noticed with both of the riders, especially Ryan Dungey last weekend, getting that fourth and final transfer spot in the heat race, that doesn't rattle him when it comes to main event time. He knows that, hey, it's just a heat race. Okay, well, I got eight pick going to the main event. It's no big deal. He puts all that, hey, I got a new opportunity here in the main event, and I got an opportunity to win. But like I've always said, with that big 45-point lead over Trey Canard and 80 over Eli Tomac, if the win presents itself, he's going to do it. But if he gets into any problem, like in that heat race, the win didn't present itself to him, so hey, the next best thing, just make sure I get in out of that heat race, which he did. That's how he's going to finish out these last 6 rounds. Yeah. If he's in the hunt to win it, he'll win it. But if he's struggling, he's back in 4th or 5th, hey, he can take a 4th, he can take a 3rd, he can take a 5th, but I don't think so.
I don't think so either. You know, those guys got to catch him first. Dungey's been really fast. In the first free practice this morning, he was the 3rd quickest, so he's right there.
There's Vicky right there, kind of going in that rhythm section there. Just, you know, she rides on her own pace. You know, she doesn't let these guys intimidate her or push her into something she's not happy with doing, you know, like I said. But right now she's sitting 18th, still with that minute 9.1. So you have right there, you got 18. You got the 20 fastest in that A group, that's 38. Hopefully somebody in that C practice doesn't, you know, jump up there, and I'm going to kind of write that note, make a note of that, 109.1 for Vicky Golden.
You know, I think it's going to take about a high 107 to get in, maybe a little better than that. But she has a method to her madness here. She breaks the track down, gets the bigger obstacles out of the way, then starts attacking the whoops, then puts the track together and tries to race the track and, you know, and do the corners fast to get that lap. All she needs is 1 lap, man, and I think she's got it in her. That right there is pretty intimidating. You come off the grandstands and you're about 3rd gear wide open, and you come into whoops that are about waist high.
Yeah, we've talked about it. instead of going in there and just, you know, hitting them and going single, at least try to do 2 and 2. But she's working herself up to getting this timing section down here, which that was perfect right there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if she gets in. You know, she's going to try her best. We want all you fans. We know you're watching, and fans of all these riders. If you have questions, go ahead and tweet in. Use hashtag Supercross Live, hashtag Supercross on Fox, hashtag Race Day Live. Tweet us your live questions, and we're going to answer them here right on the show.
Well, the other thing, too, is if they can tweet in, they heard all of our good guests we're going to have in, Jean-Michel Bayle, anything. If we can get some of those tweets and we can get them read on the air, we'll ask the rider, you know, if we have time.
There's number 74, Zach Williams out there. He's putting in a pretty good effort so far.
Yeah, he's on a hot lap right now. Let's see where he's at there. He's sitting not too bad right there. He's Williams. He's in 4th. That's not bad.
Let's see if he jumps up here. He gets through the whoops good. Triple's kind of a cinder right there. That's big. Ooh.
Well, he would jumped it high. You saw, you know, the front end slaps down. Not a bad way. You know, that sand section right there, the outside line and the inside line come together there, so we're going to have to keep our eye on that.
Yeah, we will, especially when Baggett and Anderson get out there. Yeah. And once again, you know, we're going to live tweet during the show today. Use the hashtag AskRDL. You know, hashtag AskRDL, and we'll get those questions over to our moderators. And anything you want to know, you know, ask about the riders, ask about Vicky Golden, ask about Diana Dahlgren coming on the show. I'm surely some of you guys out there want to ask her some things.
Ask about Christina Denny.
Christina Denny, Brock Tickle,
right.
You know, Jean-Michel Bayle. I mean, 1991 was a long time ago to me, and I just remember watching him at the Houston Supercross, and I could not believe how smooth the guy was. He's just, you know,
poetry in motion, like I said, just
effortless.
You watch a guy like that, you want to immediately go out and ride a motorcycle or buy a motorcycle.
Yeah, so it's cool. And I'm sure he's going to have a lot of insight on Marvin Muskin. He's going to have a lot of insight on Ryan Villapoto racing the GPs and kind of just how the sport's transitioned since he retired. So it'll be fun to talk to him.
Well, and he's one of the first Frenchmen to come over here. I mean, he paved the way for, you know, the other guys after him. I'm talking to Mikel Pichons and Tortelli, David Villemin. Yeah. I know I'm leaving out a couple. Roncada,
Roderick Thane, Roncada.
Roderick Thane, Steve Boniface. Boniface. Yeah, there's a lot of guys.
The French invasion was really, really prevalent there around the millennium, and it's still prevalent. Look who's leading our 250 East, you know. That guy speaks French too, Marvin. I'm talking about Marvin Muskin, so it's going to be cool. I'm really proud of our guest list this week, and can't wait to get these guys on here and talk to them. But don't forget, tweet into us, and we're going to answer your questions live. AskRDL, hashtag AskRDL. Time is about up here in 250B qualifying number 1.
Yeah, about 240. Actually, I'm trying to look around and seeing. We're trying to get some of the riders off. I'm not sure. I'm trying to look and see if I see a
checkered flags out.
It's finished now.
The darn time thing on top of the finish line.
Got froze at 2:44.
So we got our eyes and ears open down here for you on Race Day Live. Once again, thank you everybody for tuning in to us. Good to be here in Detroit. You know, last year was the first time we returned to this city since 2008, and always a lot of drama here. A lot of championship implications take place here in Detroit. They call it the Motor City. This is a racing city, so it's going to be good tonight. Cannot wait.
Yeah, you're going to look at Preston Mull and Stuart Williams there, and Hawley and Potter rather, and Gully right there. That's going to be the top 5 there, and you know, that's a good time. That's something that, you know, they're kind of set the bar for some of the other guys going out. They know where they're at, but that was a good qualifying session for the guys out there in that 250B group.
Yeah, and like we talked about, the track's tough.
It is.
I'm surprised they're getting around there with the 55.
Well, I'm going to slide over a little bit, and you can kind of see that up and over in there. You know, we talked about it earlier, but it's huge. I mean, it's a long way up there, and you got to go back down and slide into it, but it's interesting, and that's why you watch Race Day Live. You got to check out our chat feature. We had a highlight on that, and you know, I talked to a few of the guys, Alex Ray and a few of the guys, and you know, I said, I got to be a little bit more aggressive. I said, well, don't be aggressive going up into the stands. That's one place you don't want to do, because I remember in the old Pontiac days when I was racing, you know, a guy would go in there and slam, and the guy would fall on top of you. And
you're both up there.
Yeah, and then the next guy would run in. The next guy, he'd have 5 guys. The guy sitting in 6, he'd go around the outside and say, hey, thanks, guys, I'm leading it. He went from 6th to 1st.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest crashes I saw in Jeremy McGrath's career, I think, took place in Pontiac when he was going up into the stands and he flew over the handlebars and went head first into the hay bales. So we hope we don't see anything like that tonight, but we're going to see a lot of great racing action. The reoccurring theme in qualifying the last 2 or 3 weeks has been Eli Tomac, and he's the fastest again here. And I just don't understand why you can't translate that speed in qualifying into the main events, Jim.
Well, he's had him in the main events. He just has problems those first laps or lap 3 or 4. You know, he just makes a mental error. Just I don't know if he loses focus or what happens, but but when he puts it together, it's sweet. And I mean, to get his first win in Phoenix round 2, I mean, you looked at it, he was on the ground in Anaheim in round 1, and then he comes back the next weekend. And, you know, it seems like every time he kind of gets on a little bit of a roll, then he has a malfunction. So let's see. I mean, he had the malfunction last weekend, went down. Yeah. Let's see if he can win here tonight in Detroit.
Well, speaking of here tonight in Detroit, me and you were down there. You and I were down there earlier yesterday. We got a much closer look at this track. Let's go check it out. All right, Andy Boyer and Jim Hawley with Race Day Live, presented by AMSOIL. Now, this is a pretty cool part of the track here, Jim. It goes back to the old school.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of reminds me of Pontiac, the Silverdome, when I was racing. You know, you go up into the stands here, but, you know, when you go up in the stands, it's a lot harder than it looks. You know, most people think, oh, they're just going to go up there and do a 180 and come right back down. But, you know, as they come back down, you got to double, and then you got to, you know, you're right into a set of whoops. And you got to remember, when you're coming down, the suspension's collapsing. So it's not like you're coming up to a double and you get that rebound. So this could be tricky. And the other thing is, if you get underneath the guy and you go to move him out of your way up top, you better hope he doesn't land on top of you. At Pontiac, we've had a lot of big piles up here, like 5 and 6 guys going down in this turn behind me. So that's going to be pretty tough.
Well, tell the folks what you got to do with your bike as soon as you make this corner and go down that steep hill.
Well, you just got to grab a handful of throttle and get down here and get set up and not sit down. This won't be a...
Well, you got to shift like 2 or 3 times out of this corner.
Well, you definitely got to shift at least once. I don't know about twice, but at least once. And then you got to be prepared, you know, your body positioning on the bike to take that double after, and then you're going to get into an immediate set of whoops there. And, you know, it depends on the track on how it's going to, you know, form. They got a lot of moisture in it now. It was dry when we first came in, but sometimes a lot of guys, you can rock it up this thing and brake slide around that and come back down. That helps you carry a lot of corner speed, you know, when you come up into the stands like this. But it all depends. Sometimes it could get rutted. The rut gets too deep. You got to go to the outside one. So it just depends on how the track develops.
This is a very exciting track this weekend. Of course, we're going up in the stands, as Jim just explained. We're going to go over and check out the sand section. All right, now this is a very technical track we have this weekend in Detroit. We already talked about going up in the stands, but one of the aspects of these tracks all season long that are giving the riders trouble is the sand section. Now this sand section, well actually, Jim, why don't you tell us about it?
You know, and I don't know. I mean, I think if I want to crash, I want to crash in the sand.
Pretty soft?
Yeah, it was really soft down there. But that's the thing about the sand. It presents a big problem for the riders, especially when you land off the triple. You're going to come in here. You're going to make that left-hander. You got to get up enough speed because you got to double before the Monster Energy finish line. Big double after that. So we've seen a lot of guys in the past going down in the sand. And the Feld track crew, they do such a great job of implementing different things. And this sand is deep. I mean, if you look at it behind here, it's got to be all of 3 feet deep. So they're not going to get down to the plywood. They're not going to get down to the base, the dirt down there. It's going to be a nice sand section. There's probably going to be, you know, 5, 6, could be even 10 different lines into the sand section. Some guys are going to go the inside. Some guys are going to try to, you know, develop a Southwick, Massachusetts berm here and carry that outside speed and double coming out of the corner. But definitely going to present a problem here tonight in Detroit for this Supercross here.
Well, I tell you what, this corner is right before the finish line, so at the end of these main events, it might not be just Jim that's laying down in the sand. So, Jim, what took you so long to get up out of the sand there, man?
I'm getting older. That sand was soft. I kind of liked it. It felt good to be laying down there relaxed in, but it's definitely going to be tough tonight here for the boys.
Yeah, I like it when you have your ideas. You're like, hey, man, let's lay down in the sand and get this shot. I was like, you know what? That's a great idea.
Well, that was actually John, our sound engineer. He gave me the idea. He actually wanted you to do it, and I go, well, I don't know if Andy will do it, but I'll do it.
No, I've had too many crashes in the sand. I actually rode a little bit of sand this week at Bithlow, and yeah, so got my fill on some sand there.
Well, and that's why I figured you didn't want to be in the sand. I said, I'll do it because I knew you went riding on Wednesday and you had fun.
Yeah.
You had fun with an old buddy of yours. You had a big battle with him.
Jeff Crutcher.
You ran into him in Atlanta. That was pretty cool.
Really cool how it works out. That's what makes our sport so special, is just the journeys that we go on, the people that we meet. And once you're in our sport, you don't leave it. You know, you've been here for 30 years after your retirement. I don't know if my math's all the way correct there, but you've been here since you started it, is what my point is.
No, it's 30 years, Andy.
Yeah, okay.
It's 30 years plus.
Okay, yeah. So
but I mean, it's like Emig. I saw him, and a buddy of mine, Bruce Stewart, was out riding at LACR a couple Wednesdays ago, and he said, "Hey, Emig was out." I go, "Really? Yeah, he lives down in Riverside. That's a long way for him to go." I go, so I saw him today on the track and said, "Hey, Jeff, what? You should have gave me a call. I came out and went riding with you." He said, "Oh, I forgot to do it. Next time I'll do it." So.
No, it was fun. It was just a grudge match between me and Jeff Crutcher. 10 years ago, we had a winner take all dash for cash race, and yeah, that guy crashed pretty good there. I hope he's okay. This guy's going to turn around and see some yellow flags.
We'll see him in the shot there.
He's getting back up. So once again, we're watching 250C qualifying here.
Ooh. Yeah, now you're going to look at it here. You're going to see Tucker with a 102.9, and like we said, Vicky Golden, she had a 109.1. So if you look down there, she was 18th. That's and you add the 20 of the A guys, that's 38. You got 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. You got to pick it up a little bit if you're Vicky Golden.
Absolutely, yeah. It's yeah. She's gonna have to get. Like I said, I think about a 107. You know, right in there. I think that's gonna get you in. We're looking at the 5th and 6th fastest guys here. So 250C qualifying coming up, and track looks great. You know, I'm surprised. It looks actually really tacky, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, you know, today during the track walk, we talked about it. I think Dave Arnold, our camera guy, and, you know, he said that, you know, we actually at one point we took a shot of our shoes because, I mean, there was so much mud. But once these guys get out here and kind of mix it up a little bit and, you know, churn up the dirt, it'll be fine. But it just makes it a lot easier for the Feld track crew after these practices when we're in intermission, you know, to go out there and kind of, you know, rework the track and all that. And, you know, I think tonight for that main event, it'll be good. But like you said, when we were here yesterday before they started watering, it was pretty dry. And we talked to Adam Enticknap earlier on the track walk. And congratulations to him for making his first main event of 2015. But he said it was dry. And I said, well, it's not going to be dry tonight. That's for sure. It'll be perfect conditions.
They've done a great job all season long, Jim, the Feld track crew has. And, you know, the toughest obstacle for the racers was last weekend, those whoops and the ruts and stuff. And
well, I think here tonight you're not going to see the ruts like we had in Indy last weekend, so that's going to help them out a little bit. You're going to see a little bit more rhythm lanes here and a little bit more timing sections, but it's going to be a little bit easier for the guys to deal with them as we're watching some of the guys navigate through the sand again. But that sand's going to be hard.
It is going to be hard. You know, there's one line on the inside, another line on the outside. They both come together, so that's going to create some interesting scenarios there for sure. That's Keith Tucker right now is your fastest rider. He has a 59.8, so that's pretty fast. He's about 5 seconds faster than everybody in this practice right now.
Yeah, you talk about Keith Tucker there. Another Keith won here, Keith Turpin. Back in way back in 1986, April 13th, 1986, Keith Turpin, you know, was the first rider to win here in that 250 class. I kind of like going back and looking at some of the old stats.
Me too.
You kind of forget about some of the guys. I mean, I remember Keith Turpin. You know, he won a lot of races, and I mean, if you go back with a guy like Keith Turpin, you know, last weekend that win for Marvin Muskin, 8 of his career now, that ties him with Pastrana, Denny Stevenson, Keith Turpin, and Dean Wilson. All those riders have 8 career wins in that 250 class.
That's good. You know, and Denny Stevenson is going to be coming to the St. Louis Supercross, and I think he wants to come up on our show. So
let's get him on here.
Yeah,
I'd like
you
to
guys
talk to Denny.
Yeah, and that, once again, use that hashtag AskRDL, and we'll get Denny some questions queued up, and we'll answer them for you.
You know, you just gave me a very good thing to think about. You want to, when they hashtag RDL, hey, who would you like as a guest? We'll try to get him on.
Absolutely. who better to ask for the guests than our viewers, you know? And
yeah.
Want to thank all of our viewers, internationally and domestically. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to keep things fired up for you here today, here in practice and qualifying. The checkered flag is out on 250C qualifying. I believe the fast guys are going to be next. So Keith Tucker, he is the heat here in 250C. 59.8, he was 5 seconds faster than Schlusser there in second, followed by Littinger. That's Marzan and Kadlik, rounding out your top 5. So it's going to be good. And folks, attention and fans, if you want to check out the reigning national MX champion YZ250F and new 2015 YZ450F 4-strokes at YamahaMotorsports.com today. And DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of AMA Supercross. Defy convention with DC Shoes. I want to thank all of our sponsors. AMSOIL, MMI, they've been on board with this all year long. Had a great time. Round 12. Just got here really fast, you know, and it's we're right in the middle of this big winning streak with the orange guys, but it's going to be interesting. And I think down the stretch, the Honda guys are going to eventually win. I think Cole Seeley's got a win inning. I think that Tomac and Canard are going to come back and get some wins here in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, and you still got a lot of racing to go. We have 5 more rounds after tonight. You know, we have next weekend St. Louis, and everybody's got a weekend off for Easter. Then we pick it back up with the West Coast guys in Houston on April 11th. Then we follow up the next weekend at the new Santa Clara Stadium where the San Francisco 49ers play.
Yeah.
And then it's off to pick up the East Coast again in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And if any of you guys are listening, make sure you come out to Press Day. That's going to be at Grand Central Station. That'll be pretty cool on Thursday, and I believe it's at noon. So we'd love to see you come down there and hang out with us and say hi. And then after that, it's off to Vegas for the finals, and not only for the finals for Supercross, but for that AMSOIL Arena Cross Series. I can't wait to go see that on Friday night.
Between you know, the Baggett guys and you know, the Baggett Racing on the Kawasaki's with Matt Gorky and Jacob Hayes, and you know, it's going to be interesting to see if Regal can hold those guys off. Regal caught fire about halfway through the season. Kyle Regal from Texas, and
he's got the momentum going.
Yeah.
You talk about that. He's riding that Husky, and he won last weekend both nights in Mississippi, and now he's got 6 points in that race to the championship. It'll be interesting to see how they finish up in New Orleans tonight.
It's going to be cool to see if Husqvarna can get a championship when they come back to racing. It's been years since they've raced, and I was actually talking to Dave Gallon, the team manager, you know, and kind of talking to him about Jason Anderson last weekend, and I was like, how did that go with him? You know, it had to be, he's a rookie, you know, he took out, him and Baggett got together, and then him and Weimer got together, and he was like, man, it just snowballed, and it was one of those rookie days where you learn a lot.
Well, and the other thing, you talk about getting together, he had to come through that semi, and he moved Alex Ray out of a transfer spot in that final right-hander. So he was getting together with everybody, and he said, you know, after the night I have, there's no way I want to even get in the last chance race, because he saw what happened to Jeremy Martin in that last chance race in the 250. So, you know, Anderson wanted to stay out of that last chance, and I look for Alex Ray to make his first main event here in Detroit of his career in that 450 class.
He had it. He had it. That was a freak mechanical failure, didn't you?
He had it twice, yeah. His subframe broke. He was leading the last chance, had it, and unfortunately, but you know, it's going to make him a stronger rider, you know. And I talked to him a little bit, you know, about that semi. It seemed like he had a pretty good start. He was in second or third, and then, you know, when a guy would pass him, he wouldn't stick with him. He thought he had room, and he kind of rides a little bit. I just, you got to keep that intensity up a little bit more in that semi, because you really don't want to find yourself in those last chance races.
No, they're a nightmare. Same thing for Jeremy Martin. You know, anything happens in a 4-lap race when everybody's, you know, putting all their cards in. It's rough. But here we go. We got the 250A guys coming up for their first qualifying session. A lot of fast guys there. Martin Davalos, Justin Bogle, Jordan Smith, James Dakotas, the Ripa. You know, and there's Kyle Peters and AJ Catanzaro back there, number 64. And Rodriguez there, 62. And 79 that's Jace Owen, who got his first top 10 last weekend. Jace Owen really stepping up and showing, you know, he's got some serious speed.
Yeah, a lot of these guys already sitting. They got the whole shot device kind of locked in there, ready to go. I'm not sure. They might be doing a little bit of track maintenance out there, just cleaning up a few things, but I don't see any the Feld track crew on. I'm not sure what they're waiting on, but this is hard for these guys because you're getting a big view of the picture of the track now, and you can clearly see where they go up into the stands there and come back down in there. But it's hard for these guys because they want to get out there and they want to try to lay down that fast lap. You know, some riders like to do it in the first couple laps. Other riders like to wait to see how the track develops and lay it down in the last lap.
Yeah.
But needless to say, Andy, you've been there. It's hard waiting like that.
I never like sitting there.
You want to go. You want to go.
And stay with us, folks. Got a huge lineup of guests coming up, and we'll be right back. And we're back on track here at Ford Field in Detroit for round 12, 258, qualifying number 1 on track now. There's Mitchell Oldenburg and the defending champion Justin Bogle out front here early in this qualifying session. Bogle has been on the podium every single round so far, but it's been frustrating for him because he wants to get a win. He's 16 points behind Muskin, but he can close that thing up. With one mistake by Muskin and a win by Bogle, he's right back in this thing. Yeah,
well, I mean, he's 16 points down, and like you said, he's had, you know, a second at the opener. He had a third at Anaheim 1. He had a third at Anaheim 2 there. Then he had a second and a second again. He's just missing that top spot. Yeah. And he needs, you know, his buddy, it's got to be Jeremy Martin at this time. He needs Jeremy to help him out and get in between Marvin Muskin and possibly another guy. I mean, I know that Kyle Cunningham had a great ride
sure did.
Last weekend. 5th, and you talk about him last year here, he had a 4th here, Cunningham, so he can possibly get up there.
And talk about a couple of other guys, Jordan Smith and RJ Hampshire, the teammates there at Geico Honda. Those two guys are getting a lot faster, the two rookies, starting to come into their own. But Bogle here, I don't know, this is technical. It's going to be one of his type of tracks, I think, and I think he's going to really have a chance to win this thing tonight.
Well, we saw him right there in that rhythm section there, just seat hop that triple going in there, and I mean, he's looking good right off the bat. He's got that new gear on there, looks good. I mean, if he can possibly win here, but you know, pick up 3 points. Hey, he's only 13 back, and next weekend pick up another 3. Now he's only a 10-point lead. He's still got a couple more rounds to go. But you got to start winning. I mean, that's the bottom line right now, and I think he knows it.
Yeah, he's been frustrated. You know, he looked at that. I mean, that's carrying a lot of speed around there. That section of the track, though, is going to make or break his night tonight. He has to get the start in the main event, keep it on 2 wheels for 2 or 3 laps, and then he'll have a shot. I think he has the ability now to ride with Muskin.
Well, the thing about it is we've seen him in the past in heat races beat Muskin. Yeah. Straight up, they've been 1-2. Bogle gets the whole shot, Muskin second, and Muskin can't do anything with him, and that's got to gain a lot of confidence for him. But I think you're right. When you come back onto the starting line straightaway, that sweeping left-hander, it's going to get a little greasy. It's a little bit hard-packed underneath there. But come main event time, the Dirtworks guys might chew it up a little bit and make it a little bit, you know, passer-friendly.
There's Matthew Lemoyne there, the Texan coming into our screen. He's a sleeper, too. He's another guy that can get on the podium, and he's got some serious speed. Really like Matthew Lemoyne. He's always kind of under the radar. Doesn't, you know, not a big mouth, does his speaking on the track, and got a lot of speed. Been around a while, too.
Well, the thing about it with Matthew Lemoyne, I mean, I think he got his first podium of his career here last year also, but you look at him, he's sitting 11th in the points. But those Daytona and Indianapolis not scoring any points, that's what hurts you. I mean, as far as being in the top 5 of the points or the top 10 or whatever.
I think he hurt his ankles. He hurt his ankles there in
Just
Atlanta.
take a little time off.
Yeah.
But that kills you. I mean, that hurts. And, you know, as a rider, when you hurt your ankles like that, you take a little bit of time off. Hey, I want to come back to Detroit because that's where I got my first podium at last year. I think it was here. Or was it last year? I'm not sure if he got it here. Or I'm trying to remember which round. It might have been Toronto. But no, last year was Cian Cirillo with that win. Bogle second and Baggett third. So I think he might have been, he had a great ride here, though, last year, if I remember correctly.
There's Mitchell Oldenburg in your picture there. He's had some serious speed this year, too. And coming into the season in the 250 East Coast, they said, look out for this guy. He was training with top Jimmy Albertson, and he said, hey, this guy's fast. And had some bad luck. Every time he throws down a good qualifying lap, he'll go out and crash right after it. So if he can keep it on 2 wheels, he's one of the fastest guys in the whoops.
Not bad. I mean, you know, sitting 17th in the points. I know last weekend he had that 13th in the main event. That wasn't bad for him. He was okay with that. But here's a rider clearly that, you know, should be in that top 10 consistently.
Yeah. Martin Davalos here's another guy, and he's been stricken with the, you know, the dreaded Epstein-Barr virus. You know, I don't really know what that means. I mean, did they have Epstein-Barr in the 80s when you raced, Jim?
I mean,
or maybe you just didn't know it. But nowadays, with these guys with their fitness, they get tired. When you have this disease, you can't get your heart rate up very high, and you just blow up. You get tired. So it's tough.
Again, an Audette there navigating the sand section there, up and over that Monster Energy finish line. You're going to make that right-hander come out of there. Let's see what he can do here. It's going to be a double, triple that section, another triple,
double up
and
the
hit that upper hill.
Yeah.
That's the fast way to do it.
He's out there doing it for the Legends and Heroes organization. Getting through the whoops good there.
Alex Moros and the boys honoring Dick Burleson, King Dick Burleson here tonight.
How many ISD championships have Dick Burleson won?
Tons.
He's the man. Off-road legend.
And this is where I'm curious to see how he's going to navigate it. So you got to triple that section right there. That's where we saw Bogle do it, but another rider was in his way.
This section right here is getting tough. These whoops are big, and if you mess them up, you can't get over the triple. Let's see, he got a good run, and he bounces it. Yeah.
A little short.
See, I've been watching him, Jim, and they're all coming up short on that. If you mess your drive up in those whoops, that triple, it's a cinder. You gotta, I mean, that's 70 feet it looks like, and the jumps are huge, so.
Well, the thing about it is, once you get up in the air, you gotta tap that rear brake, get that front end to come down, because you don't have the luxury of having a 450 in the torque where you can kind of roll up to that section if you mess up in the whoops. Where the 250s, they're pretty much flat tapped out right there, and when they hit that, sometimes a lot of guys, maybe the suspension is a little soft on the compression into the jump. They'll stiffen it up a little bit so it doesn't go all the way through the stroke and the shock there. So there's our buddy Mitchell Oldenburger. We've seen that happen before in practices. Looks like he's more disgusted with himself that he got off. You know, he's walking fine, and I don't know why he's not walking with his bike. Maybe something broke on the bike, who knows? But we'll have to look and see where his bike is. His bike's in between some of the jumps, so I'm not so sure that something didn't happen with the bike, because he's got his hands on his hips. He's clearly disgusted. His bike's in between his section. I don't know if he got off there. I think maybe something happened to the bike.
I'd say so. He's walking, definitely, like you said, Jim, he's definitely walking like he's healthy. He might just be a little angry. So.
Well, look at Marvin Muskin, though, with a 54.0, and clearly a second faster than Jeremy Martin with a 55.0, and then a 55.2 for Martin Davalos. And there's Jimmy Dakotas with a 55.6 and another 55.6 from Joey Savacci.
Jimmy Dakotas is another racer we want to get up here on Race Day Live. So if you folks would like to see Jimmy Dakotas, use your hashtag AskRDL, and we'll get him on here. You know, he's a super popular guy. You know, he went over and did the GPs for a while and tried that out. But I haven't talked about Marvin Muskin here, who's in your picture right now, very much today, and we need to, because he's just been riding phenomenal. You know, we talked a little bit about it in the beginning of the broadcast, the contrasting styles between him and Cooper Webb. Totally different styles. Cooper Webb's a hard charger, kind of brash with his interviews, you know, but he's a great kid. I love Cooper Webb. And then Marvin Muskin's just complete opposite end of the spectrum.
Well, look at the speed he carried around by the mechanics area there, just flat tracking it around there. Reminds me of Kevin Atherton or another guy from Flint, Michigan, by a man named Parker. Scotty Parker won a lot of Grand National Championships, but he just flat getting with it with that bike. I mean, look at him, he just stood up around that whole right-hander, didn't even put his foot down. It's just so much confidence that he's got right now with these wins and leading this. And there's Jimmy the Ripper, like you said, back-to-back six. The sixth last weekend in Indianapolis and a sixth in Daytona for him. So what a great ride for Jimmy Dakotas last weekend.
Now, I'm still watching Bogle, and he's sitting 11th right now, or 12th, excuse me, and that's just a little bit shocking. He really wasn't jumping the triple. And we got our first question here. Troy activated. Do the riders pick their own numbers? Well, to a certain extent, Jim. It's kind of complicated there, isn't it?
Well, they earn them, but the 1 through 9. Those are numbers that are reserved for past champions, the guys who've won championships, like you see.
Oh!
Ouch!
Sorry to yell in your ear there, folks.
That's all right, but that was
you don't come up any more short than that.
Yeah, and especially Martin Davalos with the ankle injuries that he sustained last year. I'm sure that didn't feel too good, and
it still doesn't feel good.
He's going to roll over, and he's going to go talk to his mechanics, I'm sure, and But getting back to your question, it was Tony, correct?
Right.
Tony
activated, yeah.
The, you know, so Troy rather. Troy. Sorry about that, Troy. You look at that, and the guys with the single digits, like you see Jeremy Martin would say, he's a past champion. Then the guys from 10th to, I think it's 29th, Andrew Short's 29. Those are earned numbers, and yes, you can pick those.
Permanent
and then
numbers,
everything,
right.
yeah, they're permanent numbers. Like you'll see Michael Lessie with an 800 number. That's a permanent number for him. But anybody after that, that's how they've earned it and how the points stack up. And hopefully that answered your question, Troy. And thanks for tweeting in.
Yeah, keep them coming. Hashtag AskRDL. Now, checkered flag is out here, and Muskin got even faster. He dropped a 53.8, followed by Bogle.
Bogle got
put in
faster.
a heater at the end with a 54.8. So, Muskin a full second faster. Your top five: Muskin, Bogle, Martin, Sabachi, and Davalos. They're all having trouble with that triple, Jim. That's kind of making me nervous there after the whoops. So,
well, I'm sure the Feld track crew will get out there, and they'll probably you know, maybe change that, maybe take out the last whoop, because, you know, you want to make it safe for the guys, that's for sure.
There we go, Jimmy Dakotas. How about that?
Dakotas slips up in there.
54.6, absolutely. That's really good for him. And folks, AMSOIL synthetic dirt bike oil delivers maximum horsepower, bulletproof wear protection, and consistent clutch feel for the confidence you need to get on it, get after it, and stay out front. AMSOIL, out front performance. Visit amsoil.com/dirtbike to learn more. And if you want to win, MMI and AMSOIL have teamed up to give you a chance to win a replica of Kevin Windham's Honda CRF 450R Supercross bike. Go to winkevinsbike.com for your chance to win. MMI, the official technical institute of Monster Energy Supercross.
Well, look at that. Martin on that last lap.
A good lap in there.
Dropped in there with a 53.4 for second.
54.3, that's really good. You know, those guys
yeah,
really
you know, just have to be consistent and really smooth, you know, trying to use my technique as much as possible, and track's really cool. It's a little bit slippery. You know, it's not the Indianapolis dirt, but you know, it's different every weekend. That's why it makes it challenging every weekend. So I'm happy right now. The bike is working really good, so we got to do our best every time we go out there.
You know, a lot of riders are having some problems getting through that whoop section. What makes them so challenging out here today?
Well, we don't have so much speed going through those whoops right there, so, and they get rough. There are some ruts already, and they're getting slippery too, so it's hard.
A 53.8 is going to be a time that even the 450s are going to have a hard time catching. Do you think this is more of a 250 kind of track?
I don't know. Probably, yeah. For sure, there is no section where you need a lot of power, but still, it's good to have power.
What do you think is going to be key here tonight?
Well, same thing, always the start and get up front and do my best.
All right, Marvin, anything you're going to work on between this qualifying and the next one?
Oh, not really. We've done some changes already, so, and it's working pretty good. We'll see. We'll watch camera and we'll see what's going to do.
Well, congratulations on another blistering fast speed from Marvin Musquin. One more time for that number 25 machine, Red Bull KTM rider, Marvin Musquin.
Thanks a lot, Ashley.
And here we go, 450A qualifying number 1. Chad Reed's jumping out there, and man, he's just had a couple, actually 3 weekends in a row where he's been up front and gone down. He went out and won that race.
Detroit's been good to him in the past. I mean, and it's been bad to him. I remember when he broke his shoulder and he had to go to the hospital and come back, and I believe he took a provisional to get back in there. But Chad Reed, you know, he won here the last time we were in Pontiac, Michigan in 05, and then he backed it up again, you know, in 03, 04, and 05. I mean, so you look at that, you know, the history there. You know, and then James Stewart, of course, he won here in 06 when we were the first time we were here in Ford Field. But Reed's got a lot of history here in Detroit, and he'd like to try to get another win under his belt this year.
I think he's got it in him. You know, when he got the third in Oakland, I was like, you know, okay, he can do it. I know he can win one of these things. And then he got in the lead at Atlanta and won that race. But I actually expected him to win one pretty closely right after it. But he's gotten good starts. He started up front. He's just gone down. So.
Well, something we're seeing different right now with Chad Reed is, you know, in the previous 11 rounds, we never really saw him jump out first in that first time practice. Right. And I'm sure that some of his crew said, hey, Chad, you know, why don't you try something different? Well, why don't you get out there and run hard and run with these guys, as we see Eli Tomac right behind him with a little over 8 minutes to go in this practice here.
it's a good strategy. You got to change it up every once in a while. And getting out front, getting your momentum going, especially riding with that number 3 in qualifying, you'll know right where you're at, because Eli Tomac's been at the top of the board qualifying all year long pretty much.
Well, and I think, you know, for one of a couple other reasons you want to get out front, get out there and start pushing. You know, if you get out in the heat race, you're going to have to be pushed right away, right off the bat. So why don't you get used to something like that? And I'm sure Michael Byrne over there helping him out, and Dave Osterman, and all the crew that he's got over there. I'm sure that they're saying, hey, why don't you try something different? We're getting to see this guy. He don't want to try anything different. He's won the last 3 in a row, well, 5 wins for him, but 3 in a row for him and Marvin Musquin back to back. So he don't want to change nothing.
Right.
He doesn't want to change anything on his motorcycle. He's happy. Hey, we might adjust a clicker. Look at Weston
who's
Pike.
fastest?
Yeah.
Weston Pike. Well, he was.
Chad Reed.
The first
is now.
lap, Weston Pike was your fastest racer, and I was just ready to tell you how stoked I was to see him out there.
Yeah.
But Chad Reed beats his time by almost a second with a 54.3. So early in the going, Reed, Tomac, Pike, Dungey, and Brayton, Justin Brayton back, and right immediately into the top 5.
Yeah, great to see him back. You know, we loved having him on Race Day Live when he was helping us here with our podium picks.
Did a good job.
And just being on the show with us. But, you know, that's been a long time since we've seen Chad Reed this early up at the top of the leaderboard.
Got a little hunger in him. There's some time left in this series for him to get some more wins before he goes outdoors. And there's, you know,
one of our guests tonight.
One of our guests tonight, Michigan's favorite Supercross son, Nick Way. You know, Michigan Mafia there.
They clearly see that triple there. Oh, there's that sand section there. Someone went down there. We gotta see who that is. But you know, you talk about how easy it is. You watch those 450s get over those triples, and you see how hard those 250s are struggling when they get out of that whoop section there and they hit that triple. It's just so much easier on a 450.
Nick Way's been around a long time, Jim. Yeah, I remember racing arena cross with them in 1996.
Well, and he's just kind of dissecting the track here on his own pace. You know, you don't see him really going out there and getting after it right away like we saw Reed. He's just kind of going in. He's look over at his mechanic. Maybe he's going to pull in. No, he's just getting out. Now that's respect for other guys that are on a heater. You know, get out of the way. And now Nick, he might go on his fast lap here. Well, not there.
Always a fun guy to talk to. Great sense of humor. Very witty. Very smart kid. You know, smart guy. I can't call him a kid. He's only a couple years younger than me. So good riding style. I always like Nick Way's riding style. He emulated Rick Johnson. We'll talk more about that when he comes on the show. But him and his dad are going, you know, through the tour this year, and I've heard that his wife says it's his last championship, and Nick says I'm not quite sure. So we all know how that goes.
Well, if his wife said it's going to be his last year, then it's going to be his last year.
Right. Right. Well, there goes Tomac back up to the top of the board with about 5 minutes to go. It is Tomac, Canard, Reed, Millsaps, and Ryan Dungey are your top 5. On through the top 10, Weston Pike is 6th, followed by Cole Seeley, Brock Tickle, Justin Brayton, and Kyle Partridge. Good lap for Kyle Partridge out there. Top 10.
Well, a good ride for Davey Millsaps. He's sitting 4th right now in the points, but last weekend he had that 5th. The only other time he had a 5th this year, round 2 back in Phoenix.
Wow.
So he's got a couple 5s, so it's been a long time coming. But hopefully Davey Millsaps possibly can get, you know, his first podium of 2015 for him.
Here's our other Twitter question from Cook Creepers. Do riders get to pick their own graphics and gear? Well, kind of. It depends on what team they ride for. If you ride for Mitch Payton, you're going to wear Thor gear and you're going to run his graphics. But if you're a privateer, yeah, you make your own graphics and go out and search out your own gear companies, right, Jim?
Well, and I remember, you know, back when Chad Reed rode from Yamaha, and Yamaha always wanted him in blue, and that was always a big thing with, I believe Chad was riding for Thor back then, and he always wanted to wear different colors, like green and yellows and different things like that. So, to answer your question, if you're winning races, you can probably pretty much do anything you want. If Ryan Dungey wants to wear a different color pant, I'm sure they'll allow him to do that. But if you're running 10th in the points, and you got a sponsor that says, hey man, I want you to run this, you don't have too much bargaining room to change. But for the most part, some of the guys have you know, a little bit of say on the gear they wear. The bike, absolutely not. I mean, they might have a couple different designs and maybe they might get the rider's input, but you know, there's certain sponsorships that need to go certain places and certain colors that sponsorship wants on there. So with that being said, hopefully we answered your question.
That's it, Cooks Creepers. Thanks for writing in, and keep those things coming.
Troy Lee. There's another rider, Cole Seeley, with that great ride that he had last weekend. That second place for him, back-to-back, or not back-to-back, but 2 seconds this year for Cole Seeley. I look for him possibly maybe to get his first of his career here in Detroit. I know he had a great ride going here last year, and Andrew Short and him came together, but you know, one weekend you'll see him with a different color gear on, and the next, so
yeah, they really shake it up a lot with Troy Lee. He'll have the really simple looking gear on one weekend and some of this wilder stuff here the week after. But I actually talked to Cole down there on track walk, and I was like, hey, you know, you were pretty close last weekend. You know, about lap 6, I thought you were going to really press Dungey and try to pass for the lead. He goes, you know, I was, but Dungey started riding really, really good. He said, I really didn't want to throw away second place. He's like, I had a choice. If I would have went after Dungey, I was probably going to go down. So just kind of tucked it in and brought it home second, which is a darn good ride.
Well, the thing about it, I talked to him down there, and after the race, you know, he said, you know, I went to school. I learned a lot tonight, you know. And if you feel like you can do it, you go do it. Obviously, he didn't feel like he could do it, so he said, hey, I just want to relax here. I want to go to school, learn a few things, see when Dungey makes the push. Okay, if I make a little bit of a push, does he capitalize, and does he counter-offer with another push? You know, you know.
Right.
So it was good for him to kind of be out there.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, anytime you're up on the podium, that's a good day.
Well, this guy's been on the, well, Dungey was in our screen there for a little bit. There's Andrew Short. There's Dungey. Wow, you know.
Yeah,
he's got the formula figured out. Good qualifying times, good hole shots in his heat race, good starts in the mains, and every podium finish in every race we've had, except for a 4th at the season opener. And you don't forget about the you know, the 4 wins that he has too.
Look at Canard now up on top of the leaderboard with a 53.4 for Trey Canard to a 53.6 for his Honda teammate there, Eli Tomac.
All 3 HRC bikes in the top 5. Seeley, Canard, Tomac. That's been a common thread. We say that every weekend. Those guys qualify well. They have good speed under them. Still pretty impressed. Dungey's, what is he, a couple tenths off of him, so nothing to worry about there.
54.0 for him, so you know, he's okay with it. He knows you don't get any extra money or any points for having the fastest time here. You get the bragging rights.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if he wins the race, he's got the most bragging rights.
He sure does. I don't know, it's a toss-up. I'm not sure who's going to win next. If it isn't Ryan Dungey, he's probably going to be my pick to win because, hey, Dungey's on it right now. But if I had to choose Canard or Tomac, I'm not sure because Canard's been getting a little bit better starts. Not very good, but Tomac's been crashing on the first lap. So it wouldn't surprise me if Tomac or Canard came out here and got Honda another win. But with about 30 seconds to go, top 5, Eli Tomac, Trey Canard, Ryan Dungey, Chad Reed, and Cole Seeley. Reed's got a little bounce in him today, so that's good to see. Rounding out the top 10 is Pike, Millsaps, Grant, Anderson, and Brock Tickle is our 10th fastest riders so far.
I believe he's slated to come on the show. We
Tickle.
Brock Tickle, so it'll be interesting. We'll have to talk to him and say, hey, where can you pick up some time at that 55.1 for Brock Tickle? He's got a little bit of time to make up. Where can you make it up out at that track?
Everywhere, little places everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, it's if you can get a couple tenths in one corner, and a couple tenths through the whoops, a couple tenths on the rhythm sections. There's a second, you know. So
a lot of people, Andy, you know, when we're you know, after the races are over, they ask, hey, what do the riders do after, you know, the races? Well, you know, if you win, you're happy. You probably go get something to eat. But if you thought you should have won and you got second or third, you're probably just heading back, grabbing a shower, and going right to bed because you want to get back on the motorcycle on Monday and try to get ready for the next round. But all depends. If you're winning, everything's great.
Well, the checker flag is out. Eli Tomac or Trey Canard will be going down to talk to Lurch here in a little bit. Tomac is the fastest again. You know, him and Canard went back and forth.
Yeah, 52.9 in the first free practice. He had a 54.2, so he shaved a lot of time off of that free practice time.
Track's demanding. It's technical. Whoops are big. Sand section is it's a beast. You know, it's deep. A couple lines in it. Looks like Eli's trying to make his way back over to the podium to talk to Lurch for us. something about this, you know, track and the dirt right now really reminds me of Phoenix, the race that Tomac won.
Kind of leaning towards Tomac.
Right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for our fastest qualifier in session number 1, the number 3 Geico Honda of Eli Tomac. And Eli, I want to touch on it. Last week, racing gave you lemons. You made lemonade out of it. Worked through the pack, following right behind Dungey. Worked up to 11th place. Now 52.9 on qualifying times. Looks like you've shaken that off and ready to move for it.
Yeah, it's all about redemption now. And last week was a bummer for sure. It's just like, you know, you're feeling it all day, and then you have something happen like that goofy in the main event. So looking forward to getting out front again in the main event, and this is the way to start. So it's a good day so far.
You know, mentally, was that your intention last week? Is you, man, just stay close to him. I'll weave through, you know, blue flags are waving. Maybe I can slide by a few. I got to say, one of the smartest moves I've seen in racing in a long time.
Yeah, honestly, when I saw him go by, I was like, man, I'm just gonna try to stay with him and just really finish this thing out. And it didn't work out with the blue flags, but you know, next time I want to be on that lead lap.
You know, let's talk about the track here today. The whoops before the monster triple, very tough. Seems to be kicking the back end like a rented mule, able to get it up and over. But man, staying consistent in that kind of rough track conditions could be tough today.
Yeah, it's good because that's what separates guys on the track. So I'm digging it. I love the whoops right now, and the bike's working awesome through them. So yeah, let's go.
After the turnstile, do you have to you know, have a little throttle control on the way down and not give it too much? Obviously, building up a lot of speed.
Yeah, it's pretty cool going up into the stands there. It's pretty technical up top. You know, it's hard packed, and then we launch into those groups. So yeah, another fun section.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for our fastest qualifier out of qualifying round number 1. He's on the number 3 Geico Honda. It's Eli Tomac.
Thanks a lot, Lurch. Final group here to qualify is already out on the course.
Yeah, back on track. Back on track here is 450B qualifying number 1. Some of the you know, working class heroes here, some of the fan favorites. Alex Ray, Ronnie Stewart, he's back. Adam Enticknap got into the main event last weekend, and man, he was happy about it. You know, and Tevin Tapia. These guys are tough. You know, I got my buddy Chad Cook there from Oklahoma. He's out there trying to get into the main events. Steve Roman from Pennsylvania is out there trying to make a showing for himself and get in the main. And this is a pretty good group right here. You know, you could almost have a main event with these 22 races right here, and they put on a heck of a show.
Yeah, and there's only a total of 45 entries today here at Detroit for the 450 class here. So this will be it. We won't have a C group coming out after this. And this is a group that, you know, you want to go over there. And one of the other guys that you know, we want to give a little shout out to, making you talk about the guys making their first career main events. Another one from Madera, California, Dustin Pipes, making his first main event. Him and Adam Enticknap went 22-21 there, and Killian Rusk, you know, was in that 20th position there. So, you know, a big payday for those guys. Once you get in that main event, you get a lot more dollars to get in there. So we'll see if they can back it up with main events today.
And there's Nagy right there leading these guys around. And so far, we're getting some lap times coming up here. Tapia is the fastest, followed by Ronnie Stewart. But no, Jim, like you said, you know, those guys getting into the main event, that's huge. This is one of the most stacked classes we've seen in a long time. There's 12 to 13 factory riders out there. So, and behind them, you know, you got guys like Jake Weimer that are super fast, former 250 West Coast Supercross champion. It's the tough field, top to bottom.
Well, it's good to see Ronnie Stewart back. Missed a couple of rounds there, and great to have him back here. You talk about it, you know, he didn't go down no points in Daytona or Indianapolis, so good to have him back. I know for a fact that he made the main event here last year because I went up before the start of the main, and his sister just got back from the military from Iraq, and she was here, and I said, hey, we'll put this thing in the top 15 for your sister and stuff. So good to see Ronnie Stewart back in action.
It sure is, Jim. Yeah, he's a great guy. A lot of passion, really good effort there by him. And he just jumps up to the top with the 58 flat. 2 seconds faster than Tevin Tapia right now. So Ronnie Stewart feeling it. It's a good lap time.
Well, it's hard for a guy like that, you know, Ronnie Stewart. You know, Indianapolis last year, he made his first career, and then he ran all the way with it, you know, made all the rest of the main events in 2014, then goes out west this year in 2015, struggled a little bit. I think his first main event might have been San Diego. So, you know, he didn't pick up right where he left off, so I know that he's got to be a little bit upset with that.
Field got a little deeper too.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. Track's starting to work in really nice. You can see some of these guys out here just Getting across there, that nice little double there. You know, rock it around the mechanics area right there.
And we got another Twitter question from @Casalo5. How many laps does it take for riders to start jumping a new track? Well, the A guys, not very long, huh, Jim?
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of the A guys, you know, they have these practice tracks. You know, they'll go out there and they'll hit the triple right away. Some of the timing sections where you're quad, they might go a couple laps, but and then the other thing also is, if you had an opportunity to come out here and ride press day and do some media work, you get an opportunity to ride the track. We see it each and every weekend when we come out here.
Yeah.
Sometimes you guys see it on Race Day Live. You'll see a guy just come out here and just lay down a fast time, the opening free practice,
like,
and you go, wow, he obviously rode
press
day. So it's a big thing if you get invited to ride press days. We're watching Ronnie Stewart now, but yeah, a little bit harder for the C group and a little bit easier for the B group, but way easy for the A group. These guys got replica tracks out here, and it's just like, it's like clockwork, like anybody else going to a 9-to-5 job, punching the clock in. They just punch the clock in, they automatically start doing the triples if you're in that A group.
Right, Jim, I agree. You know, and Justin Brayton in particular, he's one of those guys that goes out there, only walks the track, and he'll literally jump every single rhythm lane on the first lap of practice. He's usually the guy that sets the tone for the rest of them, and you know, jumps everything. So to answer your question there, and thank you for sending it in, these guys are good. These guys are the best in the world, and they know exactly where to place their tires. You know, and down here, that's number 236. Number 236 in the 450 classes. That's Mike Batolson from Wisconsin. And I think he's okay. Had a little trip over the bars there.
Yeah, it looks like his bars are pretty bent up. It looks like they went down. They slipped in the clamps there and they went down. He's probably going to go into the mechanics area. Yep, right away. Make a left hand. Get back there and see if you can't adjust him up and get back into this, you know, this Group B in the 450. He's still got a lot of time out there, but I'm not sure. I think he's just trying to ride around and get back and get those bars adjusted. Ronnie Stewart up on top though with a 58.0. Good to see him. Adam Enticknap now with a 58.7. That's that confidence that we talk about once you get in that main event. We normally saw Adam Enticknap maybe around 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 right there. But now that he's in that main event, he gets that confidence up, and now look at him sitting second right now early in this time practice there.
It's tough. The first 6 riders here in this 450B group, Stewart, Harrison, Enticknap, Alex Ray, Devin Raper, and Devin Tapia, those guys are fast. And they're only separated by 2 seconds, those guys.
Yeah, and you talk about Harrison there. He was right behind Ronnie Stewart, kind of on a hot lap, and Ronnie was ahead of him, and kind of the rabbit, he was chasing him, and that put him right up there into that second with that 58.3. There's Alex Ray with a 59.3 too. So Alex Ray doing a good job. Raper behind him, Tapia.
I'm telling you, Stewart looks good. I think he's on another heater here, and just watching the last couple sections, the corner right there looked perfect.
Yeah, no, he looks
excellent
good
out there.
You know, I didn't get a chance to talk to him today, and maybe after the broadcast I'll go down and talk to him, but I'm not so sure that he didn't have one of those nagging injuries that he just needed to get off of the motorcycle and take a little rest and kind of rejuvenate himself, recharge his batteries, because he's fully charged here today in Detroit, that's for sure. He just laid down another 57.7.
Yeah, so
he's on a heater. He's good now. Don't stop though, Ronnie, because you don't want that time to go away. You can roll everything, but once you stop, now if you stop like that and you had a good time, it's gone. But I'm not so sure. There might be certain circumstances if you crashed, and it looks like this rider crashed. I can't see the numbers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Devin Raper doesn't want to be going backwards there. Oh,
there's another.
Yeah, that's the end of the rhythm section here after the start line where you're watching right here on your screen, folks. I heard the panic rev and looked over my shoulder, and that's, yeah. Everybody's up and okay though, so. Track's tough. These rhythm sections there's a few different things you can do in them.
Yeah, 134, that was Lane on the Kawasaki right there. He's up and okay. There's Pinky, he's got the pink helmet on. Maybe that'll bring him some luck tonight. And Alex Ray will get his first in 2000 of his career. He's never made a main event in the 450 class. Looking good, kind of seat off that section there, land on the downside there, use the face of that, double into that corner.
He was close last weekend. I was rooting for him.
See if he bumps up. He's sitting 4th right now. See if that bumps him up a little bit.
Taking a while to update there, but it might have.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But he's looking good out there, Alex Ray.
So Absolutely.
I didn't ask him what, you know, when I talked to him what happened. He said subframe broke. I didn't ask him what broke.
told me that, and I was like, well,
I've never heard of a subframe.
What broke in the subframe?
Well, obviously something, maybe the top, you know, where it bolts to the frame, maybe broke off that holds the seat, the thing dropped down, you know, maybe that's what happened. I don't know.
Maybe he didn't want to throw his mechanic
Oh,
under the
hang
bus.
on to it. That was jumping high on that one there. That's
542,
yeah.
Johnny Bueller from California.
And he overjumped that. He had that front end so high, it looked like a 250 guy out
On
there.
the triple. Yeah, I'm telling you, the triple's big old triple, and the whoops before it are big. So you only have about, I don't know, 20 feet after the whoop section before you got to get it together and go for that triple. Most of the time, these guys are scrubbing over the triple. Nobody's scrubbing over that thing. They're getting everything they can get and seat bouncing it most of the time.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They, like I said, the Feld track crew, they may go and reevaluate as we're going to see Alex Ray jump up to that second there now with the 58.0. So a good time for Alex Ray right there. But, you know, the Feld track crew, they'll go back with the AMA and maybe John Gallagher from the FIM. They'll kind of look at, hey, what do you think? Should we take out one whoop, make it a little bit easier for those 250 guys to get up and over this triple? Because that's the easiest thing. You don't want to, you can't go out there and you can't bring the third one in or anything like that, but you can easily take out one of those whoops.
I agree. And there's Dustin Pipes. Let's see how he gets to those whoops here just talking about and goes for the triple.
Yeah, he ain't going to go for the triple now. He ran into the that insult to him. I don't know why he's mad about the other rider for.
The guy was just holding his line.
He ran into the back of him. Well, if you look at it, you know, Dustin Pipes, he started in the middle, and then the bike started to dance, and it sent him to the right-hand side. There was a rider just kind of minding his own business off to the right, and he ran into the back of him, and he thinks that, you know,
he's still mad.
Well, that's that confidence in making the main event. Yeah, I was on a heater, man. Get out of my way.
I hope everything's all good with his bike there. And
he'll be fine. He just kind of ran another big guy like Adam Entic now.
I know he is a big guy. I don't think I'd want him. He's still mad.
Well, he's going to talk to him. See, I mean, it's all right. Just keep going out there. If I was working with him, I'd say, look, you're wasting valuable time out there talking to the rider. Even though it's the finish and then they're over, but still, just let it go. It's not like he did it on purpose. He didn't have a rear view mirror in the back of his helmet saying, oh, here comes Dustin Pipes, I'm going to slow down, so he runs into the back.
Also swerved clear across the track in the whoops. So easy there, bro. No problem.
I'll go talk to him after the broadcast.
Well, race fans, what do the Yamaha 450F and Yamaha YZ250F have in common? They've both won major motocross shootouts this year. Check them out at your Yamaha dealer or YamahaMotorsports.com. And DC Shoes is proud to be the official footwear sponsor of AMA Monster Energy Supercross. Defy convention with DC Shoes. Once again, we got a huge lineup of guests for you folks and a big show coming up, so please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hello, it's Andy Boyer, and welcome to this week's Toyota Tailgate Talk, and welcome to the set of Race Day Live. This is our weekly show we do for practice and qualifying before every night program that leads into Fox Sports 1. We wanted to give you fans an in-depth, look at what it's like over here behind the desk. It's cool in these venues like this here at Lucas Oil Stadium. We have the fan interactions. Like, look around and see all these fans having a good time. Yeah. But what makes the show really interesting is, of course, doing it with Jim Hawley and working with the producers and working with the crew that works the TriCaster, loading in the commercials and the interviews that when we go to show. The biggest part for me has been learning how to talk with this thing on right here. By far, the favorite part of it is the fans. What's your name, man?
John Meredith.
Where are you guys from?
Here in Indy.
Here in Indy? What races do you go to?
Redbud, Ironman, all around. Just definitely here.
What's your name?
Braden.
Who's your favorite rider?
Ryan Dungey.
Ryan Dungey. Wow, he's leading the points. That's pretty cool. Have you guys ever been to this Supercross before?
Yeah.
Cool.
Like 5 years in a row with him, so it's...
What's your favorite part of the show?
Just the interaction with the riders out in the pits, and then, he likes coming and watching the SX Challenge, so just all around the whole experience is awesome.
Here we are on Race Day Live. We have this headset on. It's kind of hard to hear, huh?
Yeah.
Look at all these people. Does it make you nervous? Well, here, I'm going to give you an opportunity to make me nervous. Now it's your turn to interview me. Here you go.
Who's your favorite driver?
My favorite racer is Jeff Emmy.
Where are you from?
I'm from Kansas, man, just a couple states over. See, it gets kind of tough, doesn't it? One more question.
Who's your favorite monster truck driver?
My favorite monster truck driver? Oh, the guy that drives Gravedigger for sure.
And that was this week's Toyota Tailgate Talk. We wanted to bring the fans in to show them what it's like to be on the set of Race Day Live. I got some friends here that are going to help us say goodbye, so here we go.
Race Day Live!
And that was just a lot of fun. You know, those kids were all hanging around, and it's just been fun all year, Jim. It's been great.
Yeah, anytime you can get the fans to interact with us and things like that, like we're interacting right now with the fans as we're on the big Jumbotron up there. We want to welcome everybody to Ford Field, round 12 here, the Monster Energy Supercross. Welcome to Race Day Live, but it's just always neat. You know, I remember that last weekend the people were pulling for Marvin Muskin. They had number 25, and that was their 25th wedding anniversary, and they came to Supercross to Indianapolis there at Lucas Oil Stadium, and that was pretty cool to see them. And just you know, it's so neat to see, you know, when you get a chance to go to the pit parties or you get a chance to meet your rider, because, you know, if you come here and you see a Matthew Stafford play for the, you know, Detroit Lions or whatever, you're not going to be able to see that guy. You're going to see him on the field, but here at Supercross you get an opportunity where you can actually see Ryan Dungey or Chad Reed or the top riders, Marvin Muskin, Andrew Short, whoever. You get a chance to meet him there. As we're seeing some of the fans, want to welcome you
Look
to
up at the Jumbotron.
You're on the Jumbotron there, and maybe we can get there. You guys are. How are you guys doing today? You enjoying the race?
They're tweeting to us right now. You're using Ask RDL right now, aren't you guys? So send us some tweets, take some pictures, send some selfies. We'll put you on the front page of our website. But we hope you've enjoyed the show so far today. Still got a huge lineup of guests coming up. So far, we're going to have Diana Dahlgren, Brock Tickle, Jean-Michel Bayle is going to come join us here in a little bit, Christiana Denny, and many others. So, but more importantly, we're going to be watching the action on the track. So it's going to be good. Yeah, and another one, you know, Detroit's own Nick Way will be up here, and it's really interesting. Nick, you know, helping opening ceremonies, getting a chance. They mic him up, and he describes the track to the crowd. Then he does a hot lap. It's pretty cool. It's pretty hard to ride with the microphones. We're seeing some of our other fans there. There you go. Hi guys, how y'all doing? Welcome to Race Day Live. He's got a beer up there. He's enjoying himself, and I think they all got beers there, so it's good. No, welcome to. It's good to be here in Detroit. You know, we hope you guys are paying attention to what they're doing on the track right now. They're fixing up some of the ruts, and look how good the dirt is. That's a good sign for what the racing is going to be like tonight. When you see that black cherry dirt coming up, it's going to be tons of traction. There's going to be multiple lines. The sand section is going to, you know, provide an opportunity for these guys to have some last lap passes in the heat races and stuff, and it's just going to be great. I really like the track they put together here. Well, and you're seeing a lot of the Feld track crew right there with the dozers. We talked about it that for the 250 it's a little bit hard to get over that triple. They kind of went out there and, you know, pushed that last one into the other one, and now they're just you know, working on some of the landings and the takeoffs, trying to get some of the ruts at it. And I always like to say they're trying to make the track better, so the lap times will even come down a little bit lower than we've seen in the past, as we saw Ronnie Stewart in that last Group B there with a 57.7 for Ronnie Stewart. So good to see Ronnie Stewart and Alex Ray up there, and Harrison there, and Adam Intick-Knapp, and Tevin Tapia, and Raper there. That was the top 6 in that practice. So they'll get a chance. They'll take a little bit of a break during this intermission, the guys, and get out there and kind of make a few changes and come back out for their final time practice. Yeah, they got one more swing at it, but like I said, that group, that 450B group, has some seriously fast guys in it. I wouldn't mind seeing a race, you know, for 10 laps between the top 10 in that class. But coming up, we have a really cool segment. You know, they say jump for show, corner for dough, and this right here is going to teach you how to properly get around the corners on a Supercross track.
Nowadays, corner speed is the name of the game, that's for sure. If you're not hitting the corners fast, you're going to be in the back of the pack.
Fighting their way into the corner.
Those corners, hitting those corners so good.
What do they say? Jump for show, corner for dough, I believe.
Those 90-degree corners are so tight. It's tough to pass. You got a guard.
The key to corner speed is a lot of momentum. You know, we used to always think when I was younger that you go in as hard as you can, but a lot of times that'll mess up your middle of your turn and your exit.
Find a flow and you know, get off the brakes and try to just roll the corner really fast.
You know, the faster you go, the farther you have to have the bike leaned over.
It's balance, you know.
essentially. You're on a lean angle on the tires, and you want your center of gravity in the right spot.
Dungey's so good in his turns. His corner technique has always been exceptional.
Smooth in and, you know, in the middle and smooth off. You know, not getting too clutch happy is ideal.
Roczen making a mistake there, losing the front end.
Basically losing your front end, that's what we call my front end is washing out. Too much front brake, just a loss of traction because of the dirt.
Maybe coming in too fast, and you're still trying to make that corner, so you're holding the front end and trying to keep that traction there, but sometimes it's just, you're right on that edge.
It's happened to me before where I start to wash and I know it's coming, but I can't do anything to stop it, and it feels like a minute goes by before I finally hit the ground.
Those whoops
through the whoops there.
Face of the whoop section.
Through the hoops.
Through the whoops.
Where did whoops come from, like the name whoops?
I've heard hoop-de-doos, whoop-de-doos. Since I'm from Germany, we call it Waschbrett, and it means a washboard.
Does anybody have an answer for that one?
Oh, Pike, look how much faster he is through the whoops
Pike
there.
just manhandles that Yamaha.
Yeah, he does.
Massive, sketchy, crazy whoops. That's like what I like.
I tell you, that whoop section as the night goes on, it's going to get nasty because the bike's really moving around. You're getting a lot of side to side with the rear wheel. Once the bike starts to go sideways, that's when guys have some serious problems.
You kind of have to wrap your head around it, that you have to go in there with some confidence and commitment.
The faster you go into them, the faster and the easier it's going to be.
You know, because your rear wheel's in the air half the time, you can't really gain momentum or acceleration, so what you take in is what you get out.
You gotta attack them. They can bite you for sure if you drop your front wheel in them, or you just gotta be on the power and be strong.
Those whoops look like they're getting a little bit chewed up.
You get down in there and you start going through those things. They're a lot bigger than they look.
They're probably one of the most intimidating things on a Supercross track when they're built big and long.
It's hard to breathe, trying to adapt with it and go with it. It's kind of like riding a bull for 8 seconds.
They can be pretty technical sometimes. You know, there's a lot of big edges on them, and they can get hard packed, and your bike will start dancing around.
Being not a very tall guy, you know, there's not much room between my butt and the seat, so made a mistake. That seat was coming pretty quick.
My legs are short, so I got to make sure that I'm set up and really clean into them. A taller guy can just kind of send it in there and save it.
And joining us now is a very special guest, Nick Way of the Michigan Mafia. Welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I'm
Good to see you,
pumped
Nick.
to be out here in front of a bunch of friends and family here tonight.
Tell us about the track. You know, you're still a little sweaty out there, but it looked like you're getting around there pretty good. Is the track pretty gnarly?
Yeah, I mean, usually always this first time practice, even the second one, the track is a little bit tougher than it's going to be all night, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because once they prep it a couple times in the night show, it's a lot smoother. The transitions are a little cleaner. Everything, there's not as much risk, I guess, involved. It's not quite as sharp, the landings.
Yeah.
So there's 3 in out of the first rhythm lane. That's a little bit tricky, ruddy, and the landing's pretty sharp on that one, so you got to be kind of on your game there. And then the whoops before the triple. The triple's actually a pretty big one this week, so that's a little bit of a tricky section too. I see a lot of the 250 guys coming up way short.
Well, and something what they did is the Feld track crew went out there and they kind of took a dozer and they pushed the last one in, so that's going to make it a little bit easier. But I wanted to ask you about that sand. That sand section looks pretty tough.
Yeah, it's actually really deep this weekend.
Yeah.
Usually it's maybe, I don't know, 6-8 inches.
It's 3 foot deep.
It's pretty deep. Yeah.
You know, Nick, let's get to it. You've been doing this for a long time. Let's see here. Your first pro year was 1995, 96, I believe?
98. Come
98?
on. Come on, Andy.
Okay. Well, I knew I'd raced you at one point in time in an arena cross, and it's just been a great long career for you, and I know it's been fun. And tell us about some of the memories.
Yeah, I mean, especially here in Detroit, I grew up coming to the Pontiac Silverdome from when I was like age 5 on. I mean, I was so little when I came here. I remember looking under the seat for the light because I could see across the stadium and all the lights popping off the triple. But it happened to be, you know, cameras on the other side of the stadium. And I remember thinking, you know what, this is what I want to do when I grow up. And then I ended up racing the 50s in the intermission here one year, and then I got my first professional podium in the Pontiac Silverdome, and been a lot of top 5s in the 450 class, and just excited to be here at this event.
Well, talk about your new role now,
Right.
opening ceremonies. You get a chance to get up there, they mic you up, you got a special helmet with the microphone in there, and you get a chance to, you know, here we are seeing you here, you know, talking to some of the fans in opening ceremonies. What's that like?
Yeah, it's actually, I've never talked while riding on purpose. Usually it's only when something bad happens you kind of do something, but it's actually easier than I thought. you know, especially if I know Kevin and Ricky have done it before, where they, you know, obviously were retired when they did it, so it seemed obviously a little bit tougher because they hadn't been on the track all day. But for me, being, you know, acclimated to the track, obviously having the 3 practice sessions before I go get a chance to ride that track and talk to the crowd and explain it to them, it's not so tough.
Something else I wanted to ask you. Last week, your mechanic, he works diligently for you. He got the MMI Top Tech Award. He won $1,000 from MMI and AMSOIL over there, contributing to that check. He was really happy to get that check.
Yeah, for sure. Big Nasty, he owns his own pickle company, which is the sponsor of the team, Mandingo Pickles. So get you some at a local Meijer store around here. But yeah, he drives the truck, works on the bike. You know, I do a lot of stuff at home and to try to bring parts we need and this and that. And obviously, I have a couple other guys on the team that help out. But he's a really strong backbone of the team, and we couldn't do it without him. So it's awesome that he was rewarded with that last weekend.
You know, we hear rumblings. Andy and I talk. Is this your last year? Or you got one more year in you? And if you do, you come back next year. Where do you see Nick Way in a couple more years from now?
Well, I mean, I don't want to be out here and just flounder. And you know, I'm not really. It's not really my style to be here and be getting 15th. So if I can improve and get more competitive as the season wears on, then I'll think about coming back. But if I'm going to be just, you know, 15th, 12th to 15th, then, you know, I need to think about doing something else. Because that's not necessarily where I want to be. You know, because I love riding.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoy racing.
You're still fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. You know, and it's necessarily, you know, it's.
You were fast back then. I've been doing it a long time. 50.
There's 88.
Check out
Pontiac, that was the Silver Dome, correct?
Look at them ruts, Holly. You probably aired out that triple behind me that night.
I had a few, you know, I looked at some results when I was riding. I had an 8th here one year, and then I had a 20th back-to-back when we used to ride. And I know one of those ruts grabbed me when I got 20th and threw me over the bars.
My man, that had to have been a bigger one than that.
How about you with Wardy on the left there, and then with the announcer there, that's Larry Myers.
Looks like Brian Lunas is trying to get me on the team back there, too.
Yeah.
Well, you already have the Rick Johnson replica gear going on there.
I was very torn that day, as you can tell. I had a Kawasaki visor or sticker on my visor, the full RJ kit. But, you know, I saw Jeff Ward beside the track, so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to pump this guy up a little bit. So he came. He was super nice, signed my trophy. My dad still has that trophy on his bar today. So that was awesome. And it's obviously a great program that these guys put together to bring the 50s out here these days. So, I mean, I see how excited those kids are, and it's great that we're, you know, carrying that on.
Now, you mentioned your father, and he was always a big part of your career growing up, and now he's back on the road with you. How's that been, you know, loading back up with Pops and hitting it?
Yeah, no, it's been fun. I mean, he obviously would love to have gone to every race that I have ever raced, but, you know, just because he worked a lot. So he retired this last year, and then we've been hanging out a bunch this year. It's been cool because, you know, I have 3 kids. And so he's been spending a lot of time in California with us before the season started, and then as the season came on, he's been, you know, helping out during the week and stuff. So it's been good.
Well, one last question I want to ask you, Nick, before you roll on. I remember when you were just first starting out as a professional, you were hanging out just a couple doors down from my house at Billy Payne. It was Billy Payne, you, Brock Sellers. I saw you guys running up the street training and stuff, and I was kind of looking at you, and I said, you know what, these guys are putting in the work, and you and Brock Sellers and Billy Payne, you guys had good careers.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a good time out here for sure. I mean, I think I met Jeff Stanton just before I raced professional, and just like yourself, he worked hard, and so he kind of instilled those qualities in me to, you know, take it serious and give it everything you have. And, you know, sometimes that's, you know, I went a little bit too overboard, but you know, it was great to have him as a mentor, and I look up to him as not only a motocross racer and a person. I mean, even you, Jim. You do a great job coming out here supporting the sport. You're obviously a great rider in your day, so it's great to have you guys out. And you too, Andy. I mean, you're no slouch.
Well, I'm still riding a little bit. I got a little Yama thumb going on there.
That's
so
right.
Thanks a lot, man. But hey, man, thanks for coming on the show. We know you got to go ride again. Getting that main event tonight and getting the top 10. You can do it, man.
Yeah, there you go. I was just going to say that top 10. I want to see a top 10 for you here in Detroit. And I'm sure. Hey, how about you fans here in Ford Field? You want to see a top 10 out of Nick Way?
Oh, they're feeling it.
All right, folks, we're going to take a break.
Couple guys were totally into it.
You guys, please stick around. Brock Tickle's coming up next. And welcome back to Ford Field. We have another guest coming up here, Brock Tickle with the Soaring Eagle Casino, RCH, Jimmy John Suzuki. Welcome to the show, man.
I appreciate it.
How's it going today? The track looks pretty gnarly. Nick was just telling us there's some things out there that are pretty tough.
Yeah, the track's really technical tonight. I think the whoops are going to be a major key tonight, and obviously a good start. I mean, that's been the key to good results in the main all year. And hopefully I can put my RCH Soaring Eagle, Jimmy John Suzuki out front and in the main event on the start.
You know, I was talking a little bit off camera, and I saw you qualified in 10th fastest there, and I was asking you, where do you think you can make up the time? And you were going to tell me, and let's tell us.
Yeah, you know, I'm just a little bit off in each segment, so I just need to go out there, clean up some things, and put myself in the hunt so I get a good gate pick for the heat races.
You know, Brock, your story this year, it's a comeback story. And, you know, you've told it to us a couple of times on some different interviews, but tell the people here in the stands, you had a really bad injury last year, and you've come back and you've jumped right back where you got, you know, where you left off, and you've been faster. You've gotten top 5s. You were the fastest guy on the track at Daytona, man. You got to be feeling good to be back.
Yeah, I'm super stoked to be back, and that was my goal. Whole goal while I was hurt was just to be back and be competitive and be better than what I was when I did get hurt. So for me to come back and put in the results I have, I'm pleased, but I still want more. So stoked I still have that drive to want more, and I just want to be on the podium by the end of the year, and I know I can do it.
Tell us about that lap at Daytona. Did you know it was the heater? Did you know it was the fastest one of the main event? That's pretty gnarly.
No, you know, I know I rode really well in the main, and I got tangled up on the start, and just kept picking my laps off kind of by myself, and finished 10th, and I knew it was a good ride, but I didn't think that I had the fastest lap of the race.
Let me ask you this, with Kenny Roczen over there, your teammate over at the Soaring Eagle, Jimmy John Suzuki team there, he's out. Does that put more pressure on you as a rider? I mean, now you have everybody over there working on your stuff. I know it was even back then, but now you're the only guy on that hauler.
I wouldn't say so. I mean, the guys have had me on the team for 3 years now, and the last 2 years, Hill was in and out with injuries every once in a while, so it was kind of that way a little bit in years past, so I'm kind of used to it, and I don't feel any added pressure at all. I kind of control that myself.
You know, it's one of the questions that people ask, you know, okay, you're on RCH, Jimmy John, Soaring Eagle Casino team. Is that a factory team? That's a factory bike, man.
Yeah, we're on factory Suzuki equipment.
That thing is really good, huh?
Yeah, I'm really stoked with the improvements they made this offseason while I was hurt. Ivan Tedesco and the whole team did a lot of work to get it better, and I feel like it's easier to go faster on this year.
You know, something when I was riding, you have your race bike, and it's a factory race bike, but when you go out and practice, do you have equal equipment? Because I know that was always an issue. They didn't have a lot of parts to go around and things like that, and you get out and you train and you practice on one bike, and then you get here on race day and you got a different bike. Do you have the same bike for practice and racing?
That's what's great about the RCH team. From the beginning, I would say since I've been on the team, the goal was to have the practice bike exactly the same or as close to your race bike as you could have it. So yeah, my practice bike at home is just as good as my race bike. So when I get here, I'm comfortable and ready to go out there and do some work.
Well, we have a Twitter question, Danny. Who was it from?
It's from Rob Dolls there, at Rob Dolls. And he says, do you guys remember being slow? Now, I certainly remember being slow. I don't know about you guys, but you don't get to Brock Tickle's speed and Jim Hawley's World Championship Supercross winning speed overnight. Everybody's slow starting out, but, you know, tell the people how long it takes and how much hard work you have to go through to get that speed.
Yeah, you know, I never really had that bright of an amateur career until I got on big bikes, so I kind of was brought up slowly through the ranks, and on my 80s, I got top 10s at the amateur nationals there, and then got on a big bike and won the first Moto at Loretta's, and everybody's like, who's Brock Tickle? Like, and then just slowly started getting better each year, and then got a ride with Bobby Reagan at Star Racing and was there for 4 years, and I'm just stoked with how everything turned out. I mean, I wouldn't think, looking back on it, that I'd be here today just with the results I have.
Yeah, a lot of fans think you just kind of grow up and you're automatically,
always
when
fast,
you sit on that motorcycle, you're fast. I remember one time, you know, when I was riding a mini bike, I mean, I hit a wall. I panicked and the throttle was wide open and I hit a wall and bent the forks back. I didn't want to ride that motorcycle ever again, you know, but it's part of the growing pains, and you've went through a lot in your career, and I want to thank you for you know, just sticking with it. You know, I mean, I know it's hard as a rider to sit back and watch everybody last year, but you have a fight and a determination like no other.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, I mean, I could have called it quits last year, but I felt like there was some undone business that I needed to come back and do. So that was my aspect on looking at it, and I think that's what's motivated me to be better.
You know, here's a quick stat for you that Jeff Emming told me. He's always pretty big on the starts, but there's only one race this year where the winner came out of the top 3, and that was Oakland. So get a start, man. You can do it.
I know I can. We've been doing a lot of work with the bike, trying to make it easier and whatnot. So let's just do it tonight and do it in front of a whole bunch of fans and friends and family tonight.
Well, the other thing, Supercross Live, we'll pay you $1,500 if you hole shot that main event. That's going to be a whole lot easier if you're out front.
Well, let's get it.
All right.
Well, speaking of getting it, I want to thank you, Brock, for coming on the show. It's been great. Good luck tonight. Stay with us. We're going to enjoy this piece with MMI Top Tech Mechanic from last week. Here it comes.
Jim Hawley, Race Day Live, presented by AMSOIL. Well, Randy Mahoney, you get the MMI Top Tech Award here in Indianapolis tonight. You're the mechanic for Nick Way. Pretty picky guy, Nick Way, man. He's got you changing everything between heat races and semis and last chance, and you got a chance to win that last chance to get the bike in the main.
Yeah, Nick, he's pretty particular. So he keeps you on your toes, gives you a handful, and as long as the wheels stay on, I'm happy.
Well, you know, I was just going to ask you that. I mean, you pick up $1,000 from MMI, okay? I'm thinking maybe Nick could wash his boots. You're still washing the boots, man.
Well, that's
part of the job, right?
Well, yeah, it just goes along with it. You know, we're good friends off of the bike, you know, outside of the business relationship. So, you know, we just do what we can and hope for the best.
Now, do you drive the hauler also to each and every round?
Yeah, we've been driving the Mafia Moto Crew rig all the races last 3 years or so. So we're
one of the Cali mechanics. Hey, they're happy too. They probably think, hey, well, hey, he's gonna buy beers tonight.
Yeah, first round on me.
Well, you know, I mean, you talk about it. I mean, let the people know watching this video how hard it is to prepare a bike and get it ready for a Supercross. I mean, what's your week like?
Well, like so tomorrow we'll do the drive wherever. If we get there early enough, we'll start washing and tearing down. Typically that'll be on Monday. So you spend Monday, Tuesday scrubbing everything, changing all the parts that need to be changed. There's a few things that, you know, as far as like chains, sprockets, you know, some of the gaskets, clutches, things like that. So we'll go through what we need to go through, and then hopefully by like Wednesday, half day Thursday, get the truck washed, get all the supplies for the truck, and then Friday morning we park, set up the tent, do tech and sound, and then we race all day Saturday.
Well, now let me ask you this. I kind of ribbed you a little bit about washing the boots. What about the rest of the riding gear? Does Nick's wife take care of that, or is that your job too?
No, he takes his gear home with him during the week, and then
and gives it to his mom.
Yeah, gives it to mom. She freshens it up, and then well, Answer comes, and the Answer brings it back fresh. You know, fresh kits all the time.
All right, well, I want to congratulate you on the MMI AMSOIL Top Tech Award. $1,000 to you, Randy Mahoney.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And welcome back to Ford Field. We have another exciting guest with us. It's Raul Venegas from Soaring Eagle Casino. Welcome to the show, man.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Good to see you.
Now, this is a big area for you guys. You guys have a lot of things going on with that huge family resort.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, we got a lot to offer families. We put on a bunch of events all year long. We also have the Edge of Summer motocross race.
Yeah.
This will be our second year. We have a water park. We have a golf course. I mean, you name it. We got our own RV park. I mean, you name it. It's a destination.
Tell us more about that Edge of Summer race you guys had going on with Ricky Carmichael and Kerry Hart. It had to be fun working with those guys, and it was a big success.
You know, that's the biggest part about it. You know, the Ricky Carmichael, Kerry Hart, those guys are so awesome to work with, very humble. You know, they put on a great show. They come down. That, you know, I mean, so many people were excited to do it. I mean, the track builder we had come out, built the race, and actually they were a little bit scared of the track because, I mean, it was kind of a pseudo track where you took the Supercross and motocross together and put them together for an outdoor race. You know, it was really cool, and then a $10,000 purse on top of that.
Well, I was just going to mention that, 10 grand, and you're doing it again this year.
First place.
First place.
$50,000 purse.
Right. But first place, 10 grand. That's a lot of money for these guys.
Absolutely, and it brought out a lot of racers last year, so we were very excited about it. And it just, you know, it just adds to that amenity that we have out there in Mount Pleasant. You know, that whole family atmosphere. A lot of things to do. You know, we do a lot of events like that. We also have monster trucks, rodeos, demolition derbies. And then we have, you know, your top star entertainment out there in the outdoors. And then we do 35 to 38 shows inside as well. So.
Wow.
Absolutely. You know, it's got to feel good. This is your second year with Ricky and Kerry, and those guys are a fun group. They're family guys. And, you know, tell us about the experience of working with that organization.
Oh, you know, RCH, the whole partnership, I think that was one of the things that sold it for the tribe as well, because, you know, the tribe has always taken their values and their family and their community. And, you know, with Ricky Carmichael and Kerry Hart, I owe him that one, trust me, and that's a long story. But, you know, with those guys right there, they do bring that family value in. They're very humble individuals with all their accomplishments. I mean, they're just down to earth, and they really blend well, and they do everything in their power to make this partnership just over and above what we have. And in addition to that, we've dedicated we've renovated one of our restaurants, and we've actually turned it into the RCH Cafe, which we just opened up this past Wednesday.
Oh, nice. And with a lot of memorabilia of Ricky Carmichael's jerseys, pictures, things like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we even have Kerry Hart's flip bike as well.
Oh, wow.
We got it, you know, hoisted upside down with the stickers and the others. You know, they got them flipped up around and everything. And, yeah, memorabilia. We got Brock. We got Ken Roczen in there. you know, we got a lot of stuff in there, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. We're looking to add more and more to it.
You got Ricky in the back in the kitchen flipping burgers or anything, making any food like that? He'd be game for that.
He would do it.
He
you know, no doubt about it. He would do it. He would get the grill out. He would do everything. You know, that guy's Ricky and Kerry are just excellent partners.
Well, you talk about that $50,000 purse, 10 grand going to the way. You're doing it again.
Absolutely, we're doing it again this year. Actually, it'll be August 29th, I believe. It's on a Saturday. We also have, leading up to that, we do a fundraiser on the 28th, which is a golf outing. Last year we raised over $30,000, and half the proceeds went to our Wounded Warriors in Michigan here to help them out, and then also half went to another charity for the tribe itself. So we raised $30,000 in our first year. Very excited about that, and we're looking to add some other elements for the Edge of Summer festivities leading up to that, and we're actually looking to turn that into a 2-day event. So
that's awesome, Raul. You know, what I want to hear more about are these water slides at your park. I got a 2-year-old, man, so that's kind of my deal when I'm not doing the show. You know, we're looking for big slides. What's going on?
Andy likes to tell a little fib. He does have a 2-year-old. That's all true, but it's Andy that wants to go down the water slide, and myself as well.
I can't blame him. You know, I told you guys I wanted to sit here and play with the motorcycles on your desk here, but no, actually our water park, you know, well over 35,000 square foot water park, you know, 244 rooms in addition to what we have at our resort. So, you know, we have over 700 rooms available. The water park is, you know, phenomenal, fantastic, especially for the 2-year-olds on up. You know, we have the flow rider in there, so if you love doing some surfing, we have that, you know, whole system set up in there.
We get Jim on that thing for
sure.
sure.
No, I'm not good on water.
Just don't lose your trunks. Make sure your trunks are, you know,
I was going to say,
really don't need to get Jim on there.
If I go down the water slide, I just want to make sure I'm behind you because you can play for the Detroit Lions, man. You're a big guy, and I don't want to go down and have you hit me when I get down at the bottom.
I don't go to the one slide because I might get stuck in there a little. Okay. I'm a little claustrophobic. I need the big tube, you know, the part. We'll go down the partner one together.
What about in the winter? Is it open during the winter?
It's open all year long.
Year round? Nice.
All year round, yeah. And then, you know, they also have a 18-hole golf course on the back of that. You know, of course, not all year round, but that's, you know, a beautiful course. A short course. They call it an executive course. You know, you can bring the kids out. Very comfortable course. You know, shorter and all that stuff. So for 18 holes there, and then we have a very elite 60 campsite RV park with, you know, just laid out perfectly. I mean, I don't even think you call it camping when you come there because you know you got everything laid out. You know, camping to me is like laying on the ground and the dirt and no cement pads or anything like that. Right. No TV.
Well, you know, we're competitive people here. We're at a Supercross. This is a big race, and it has to be exciting for you guys. You get your first wins. You know, Ken Roczen goes out and wins the first 2 or 3 races of the season. The championship is right there. And tell us about how exciting that was.
Oh, that was really exciting. I mean, you know, of course, we weren't out there in California, which I would have loved to have been, especially with the cold winter we had here. But yeah, no, I was watching it from home, cheering them on. You know, I'm sending texts and everything to the guys, and just so excited to hit the podium and everything. And then, of course, you know, we got Brock Tickle as well. You know, hometown Michigan guy who's been with us again for the 2nd year. Just really doing a good job, and we're very excited to see him out there today.
Well, I'm hoping we're kind of pushing for Brock maybe to get that whole shot and pick up a little money from us and get his first podium of his career in that 450 class.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think he's on track to do it, guys. I really do.
Well, cool, man. You know, one thing we do every week is some picks. Now, we know you're gonna pick Brock. So who do you think is looking good else? You know, Dungey's on the 3-race win streak. Tomac was the fastest in qualifying. I know if you're a part of a team like RCH, you're paying attention to that kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Been watching the top guys. You know, Canard, he's been consistent. And Dungey, I mean, that guy's just unstoppable, it seems. But you know, if Diesel, if I got to be fair, you know, my team's watching me here. You know, Brock definitely, but you know, I'm excited to see Canard and Dungey battling out as well.
They look hot today. Well, hey, Raul, thank you for joining us, man, and thank you for being in our sport and helping teams like RCH. You know, that's what makes things work, and just thanks, man. Well, stay with us, folks. We're going to have a piece right here of actually inside RCH, and Christina Denny's going to join us here very shortly. Stay tuned.
Today we're at Suzuki Manufacturing of America. We call that SMAC. Today we're here celebrating the 14th anniversary. And we also had Ricky and Kerry from the factory Suzuki RCH team come to kind of cut the cake and break ground on the next 14 years to kind of meet and greet all of the power sports enthusiast staff that we have here at SMAC.
I think it's great for a morale booster for the employees to, you know, see us when they see us on TV and at the races where, you know, these guys are working hard at assembling quads and motorcycles. It's good for us to come here, but then on the flip side, I get a lot out of it. I love to come see how all this stuff is made.
This is the cool part.
to be able to come here at Rome, Georgia and see that they're making the frames here, they're stamping out the plastic, they're assembling, they're doing so many things here, and everything is touched by human hands. It's not all robots. It's crazy to just walk 100 yards to go from raw tubing to a finished product. I think there's something that's prideful about these machines were made here in America, assembled here in America, and a lot of the parts are made here in America, and I'm glad to be part of that.
And we're back at Ford Field here in Detroit, Michigan. We want to welcome Christina Denny to the show.
Thank God.
Welcome to Race Day Live.
Thank you.
See, now I don't shake hands. I give a big kiss. How are you, hon? Good to see you.
Well, they call you Springsteen. You're the boss. You know, tell us about all the different hats you're wearing over there at the Cycle Trader Rock River Yamaha team.
No, actually, that's kind of new to me. The whole boss thing, I'm like, you guys got to quit that. But no, I mean, it's good. I mean, obviously, team manager has many roles, and you know, it's juggling this back and forth East West Coast stuff right now, and getting ready for outdoors, and you know, finishing up the Supercross season strong, and just being ready for that, you know, 1 week break for outdoors and get right back into it. So lots of stuff going on.
Well, lots of good stuff going on. You guys get your first podium this year in Oakland with Alex Martin. You know, tell us about that. That had to be super, super special.
Yeah, I knew, like, going last year, Alex was just progressing, and I knew that this would be the year that we would finally make that next step. And with the help of Yamaha Motors and you know, just great staff, it came through. Alex certainly does his part, and to make that happen for him and the team, and it was definitely something, you know, 6 years working towards, and I hope it's the first of many.
Yeah.
I want to ask you an update on Josh Hill. He had that injury in Daytona. Where's he at, and when will we see him come back?
Yeah, thanks for asking about Josh. It's unfortunate, but he is doing well. He's back in California. He's already kind of visiting the doctors there that he sees, and kind of figuring out where a program is. He's probably going to be sitting out for a minimum of 3 months. With you know, when you have a lung issue like that, you have to be real careful, and we'll go from there. You know, we're not ready to make any kind of hasty decisions, and we like Josh a lot, and I think he brings a lot to our team and our program, and you know, we'll just see. And he's, you know, he's already ready to help Alex when he goes back out there, get ready for outdoors, and you know, he's a good teammate for the guys, and I think you know, we still have a future with him.
You talk about, you know, the injuries. Injuries alone are hard enough, but it's hard enough to get him back to California with that lung injury. He couldn't fly. He had to drive across.
Fortunately, Josh has a lot of friends, and you know, I stayed in Daytona till Tuesday with him in the hospital, and you know, between the amateur program that was going on at Ricky Carmichael's. But you know, he has good friends that stayed back and made the trek with him and drove him back. It took 5 days. And they're there, and I'm sure he's comfortable, you know, back at his own home.
Talk about that amateur program. I know Andy was down there with you, and you guys were calling a race together, the women's race. And Mackenzie finished up second, but a great battle. I mean, that first thing when we came back to Indianapolis, that's what he said. Oh, you couldn't believe the women's race that we just saw.
No, it's really good. It's good for the sport, obviously, and it was what a better race to start it, you know.
12 laps of block passes.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, the girls have definitely stepped up, and they're doing their work, and they're racing today at Freestone. And unfortunately, I've had a lot going on. I haven't been able to keep up with her. And she texted me this morning, said I'm up in 3, and I haven't been able to see where how she did there. She qualified first, and but there's a lot of girls, a lot of good names that's been out there every week, and hopefully they'll do the whole season, the 8 rounds.
Well, you talk about Vicki Golden, maybe possibly tonight here in Detroit, she can make history, the first woman to line up for a heat race in Supercross, but you're first woman up in the tower. I mean, we've seen you up in that tower, and you're the only woman up there.
Yeah, you know, first team.
There you are right there, up in the tower, and you know, you look good there, but I mean, talk about it. That was a man's world up there, and you're up there, and
like a boss.
You know, you're making like you're right in there. You just kind of getting in there. I'm here.
I guess I can get a little bossy, but I mean, you have to, I guess. But no, I mean, it's even from day one. It's 6 years, like I said, and these guys have, you know, we're all become a big family. I think this whole industry, but. It's no different to me anymore, you know, and maybe the first year I was a little just getting my feet wet, obviously, just new to the whole pro program as a beginning, but, you know, I think it's awesome what Vicky's doing, and, you know, that's why I still continue to support with Mackenzie with our pro program, and, you know, I would love to be able to see some other people follow my steps.
Well, you talk about getting your feet. Well, sister, you're in the deep end now, girl. You're in the deep end.
I am.
Man. Well, speaking about the deep end, you've had a couple exciting rookies come on your team this year with Nick Desiderio and Luke Rensland. You know, talk about your new guys. You know, the future looks bright.
Yeah, no, it's something. Luke and I we've go back for many years, back when he was just turning A class in the amateurs, and I knew then I wanted this kid to ride for me. And same with Gregory Gear, who's unfortunately is out injured still. He was one of our amateur programs that we worked into the program, and it's really cool to be able to start that, you know, many years in advance. So it's when you come to the pro truck, you know, all that kind of first getting to know each other and all that's out of the window. And no, I think Luke's actually surprising me. I knew he would do well, but I think where he's coming in as a rookie has been, I'm super pumped. The team's pumped. I know there's still a lot of untapped potential that we haven't seen from him yet, but you know, there's no pressure, and I think that's what keeps it fun for him. He's such a fun guy, and his whole family's awesome, and his mechanic and everything. They've just brought a lot to our team.
That's awesome.
Well, the other thing also, you talk about your pro team that you're running, the amateur team, but you also, you know, have your truck is stocked with any Yamaha part, and any privateer that's here on a Yamaha can come by, and if they need a part, I mean, you got whole motors in that truck.
Yeah, you know, that's something that we did the first year, and we still continue to do. But it's so funny. I was just talking this morning about we really haven't sold anything much, but other than levers and stuff this year. The Yamaha bikes are just exceptional. You know, the whole Blue Coup program and everything that the bike is this year, I see a difference because we're not seeing these other parts that maybe have worn tore. It's just tried and true now. And, you know, yeah, we're here, but there's more Yamahas too on the track. And so I was expecting, man, I'm going to be busy with, you know, maybe I should get a parts person just to do this. But it's been kind of quiet, which is cool.
But correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't think I'm wrong, but when you go to the amateur truck, you have another truck out there, and they help all the amateurs out there too, and I'm sure you're selling a lot of parts out there.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Yeah.
Rock River Power Sports, you know, Triangle Cycles, and you know, another dealer from California. They are the trackside support for Yamaha. So Mike Duclos is at Freestone this week, and they help, again, all Yamahas. It doesn't matter if you purchased the bike from Rock River, if you bought it from your neighbor. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're out there building motors and swapping, you know, just swapping parts and selling parts at a discount as well for those riders there at the track. And so I think that's influenced a lot of Yamaha purchasers because they know they're going to have that support, whether it's at a, you know, amateur national or, you know, Mike goes to every, you know, qualifier in his area because of his 3 kids race. He still races. And so even if it's not a big event, he's always there to help.
Well, Christina, man, it's just cool to see how many different things that you do. I've even seen you in opening ceremonies fold up the flag,
yeah,
you know, for the national anthem. That's awesome. But thank you for coming on the show. We know you're super busy. You got to get back to it. You're the boss.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always fun. And
she helps out everybody. I mean, she's even helped me out with Nathan Wynn at Yamaha. Maybe he doesn't have a part. I go to the truck. Hey, Christina, you got this part? I got some Japanese guys in town. I need this. I need to get back to. Yeah,
she
thanks for coming on.
Daytona. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like Mayla Rocco. She does it all. What can you say?
That's right. Well, more guests to come, including Jason Thomas, but we have a piece coming up with Kevin Windham. So enjoy that, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to Race Day Live. We're going to go to Kevin Windham, and he's down in New Orleans right now, and talk to Kevin Windham. He's going to be the Grand Marshal down there tonight, the race to the championship. Kevin, how are you tonight?
I'm fantastic. It's a great night to be in New Orleans here with the, like you said, the race to the championship starting here in New Orleans, and Arena Cross in town, and so close to home. I wish I could be with you guys in Detroit tonight. Been watching all the races, all the Supercross live on Fox Sports 1 or Fox Sports 2, depending on the weekend, and just been enjoying myself, being a fan of the sport. But tonight, for me, it's about the Amsoil Arena Cross, and excited that's so close to home for me tonight.
Well, you're the Grand Marshal there. Are you going to take a lap around? I know Ricky Carmichael, you know, Ricky Carmichael's road to Supercross. He usually, when he goes down in Tampa and things like that, he takes a lap. Is Kevin Windham going to take a lap tonight?
I am. I came down early to prepare myself for the night. I mean, it's a short track, but a lot happens in the Amsoil Arena Cross Series. So it's the same action, just, you know, shrank to the arena size. So I think I might be the first guy to ever get arm pump in one single lap of Arena Cross. It's about 25-second lap times tonight. I'm hoping to make it with my stamina and not pump up. And do the nose wheelie, say hello to the fans, and just be a part of it tonight. Excited about being here and being the Grand Marshal and seeing a lot of faces. I mean, I know this is the Ricky Carmichael Road to Supercross, but the Gavin Faith and Canaries and Blows, and the list goes on and on of people that I've watched race for many years, and no shortage of talent here in Amsoil Arena Cross.
Well, the guy leading that road to the championship, he rides a Husqvarna. I'm talking about Kyle Regal, and he went back-to-back wins last week in Mississippi there, and he's got to have the momentum coming in. They kind of restack him up. Regal's got 6 points. Gerke's got 5 points, and then you talk about Jacob Hayes. He's sitting in third with 4 points. You get a sense, do you ever talk to some of the guys and go, what do you think about this road to the championship?
Well, this is definitely something that I'm going to, try to get into the pits and, kind of feel these guys out and see where they're at. I think it's a different aspect that obviously we're not used to in Supercross. And while I've been watching all the races, both of Supercross and the Amsoil Arena Cross Series, to see where these guys stand now that they're actually racing, for a championship, it's a little bit different, something I'm not kind of used to. But I wonder how much strategy goes into it, and it's going to be interesting for me to go around and kind of quiz the guys and see where they're at mentally as these guys head down to Vegas whenever we go for the finale of both these series.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You mentioned Las Vegas, May 1st, the finals at South Point down there in Las Vegas, and then the Monster Energy Supercross, the finals May 2nd at Sam Boyd Stadium there. I'm going to be at both events, and I definitely want to go to the Amsoil Arena Cross finals because I really, I watch a lot of stats and I watch a lot of videos. I watch on Fox Sports 1. I don't get a chance to see it in person. I think you got to go to one of these Amsoil Arena Cross to see it in person, to get a different perspective. It's a lot different on TV than in person.
Yeah, I think so, and that's one of the things. Like I said, I've been watching, tuning in on all the television. We got the whole series on both Monster Energy Supercross and the Amsoil Arena Cross recorded. I watch them, week in and week out. It's kind of how I live vicariously through my retirement, is just watching these guys do it. But to be live and in the house, it's definitely something cool. And the action as these guys start heading for this championship is going to be pretty intense here tonight.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, your retirement. How's that going? I know Dottie and the kids got to be happy having you home each and every weekend, but how's that going for you? Taking some of the kids to school? Normally you'd probably get out and go train or whatever, but now you're in a little bit of a different role. How's that going for you, Kevin?
Well, parenting was easy when they were infants, and now they're all playing their separate sports. My oldest is 12, and my youngest is 5, and they're spread between, and they're all in their sports. Some riding motorcycles and anywhere from piano to track and field to whatever. So it's a whole list of things that we're doing in the Windham household, and staying home a little more, but still enjoying being involved as much as I can. I mean, you can't be in the sport like I've been since I was 3 till now and just back away. So whether or not it's on the DVR at home or coming to some of the races that are closer or being a part of, like I said, the Amsoil Arena Cross here tonight, you can't go too far away. I mean, Jim, you know how it is. You look around, it's been the faces. This stuff gets in your blood, and you can't get away from it. So, I'm not going too far away, but, have an obligation as a father as well. So it's been good kind of getting a taste of both worlds.
Well, you talk about it in the blood, Kevin. I'm almost 55 and I'm still here and I'm still having fun. I enjoy going to the races, and I enjoy watching the evolution of the sport of Supercross and Amsoil Arena Cross. And RJ Hampshire coming through the Amsoil Arena Cross, he got his first podium. His teammate Jordan Smith 4th last weekend in Indy. Those guys are killing it. Aaron Plessinger on the west. Kevin, I know you're pretty busy down there in New Orleans. I want to wish you the best of luck. Make sure you say hi to Dottie and the kids for me, and thanks for coming on Race Day Live.
Hey, my pleasure. You guys have a good race there tonight at the Monster Energy Supercross in Detroit. And, Jim, I got to tell you, for 55, you're looking pretty doggone good, man. Keep it up.
Thanks, Kevin.
And welcome back to Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. Another guest here, Jason Thomas, man. Welcome to Race Day Live.
Appreciate it. Good to be here.
JT money. Always making money in the sport. I like that.
Well, you wear a lot of hats, but, most importantly, I don't want to say most importantly, but you're with BTOsports.com, Factory KTM. You got Andrew Short, Justin Brayton over there. Tell us about your involvement with that race team.
Well, I raced there the last 6 years of my career, so it's like family there. And I've known the guys that run the team, the Butler brothers, for 20 years now. Yeah. And I kind of wanted to still come to the races. I didn't want to race anymore, but it was a perfect fit. I get to host some of their VIP people on the weekend, and just gives me a way to still be involved.
Yeah, that's cool. You know what's really cool to me is, when did you figure out you were a writer? You know, I remember when I started doing it, and you know, I was working at Fox and just doing race reports. When was it for you?
I think it was when my dad looked at me and said, "You're a writer." No, but you know, it all starts as fun for everyone, right? And you just get better, and then at some point a light goes on. You're like, "Hey, I'm not too bad at this," and then the options start to come. Well, maybe I could try to go pro. And I think maybe I was like 14 or 15, and I started winning some races, and then I'm like, I'm not that much worse than guys like Ricky Carmichael. Like, sure, they're better, but I'm actually doing okay here. So, yeah.
Yeah, but Jason, what I really meant was, you're a good writer.
Oh, writer.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
With your fingers.
See, I don't think I'm a good writer at all. So that would have never crossed my mind. But no, it was just something that I started doing some stuff, like talking to Jason Wygant, talking to these guys, like, hey, I have an opinion on this. I'd like to see if I can express it in a way that people can understand. And they were cool enough to give me a chance, and it's really grown into something that I'm kind of passionate about now, because there's so much that goes on in the sport that doesn't get talked about. I don't feel like many of the riders are into writing. Riders are writing. So yeah, it's awesome, and I'm lucky that, you know, Race Directs gives me that opportunity, and I enjoy it.
See, he's got the power of the pen now. You don't have the throttle in your hand anymore. You've got the power.
Yeah, don't make me mad. I write something bad about it.
Yeah. Well, where's Mathis at? I don't even see. Is he riding the couch? Has he got a weekend off?
Yeah.
What's up, Steve?
Oh,
He's on the
Mathis.
couch.
He's riding the couch this weekend.
Next couple weeks. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, he's enjoying it. His wife's probably happy that he's home.
Well, I think at first, but then she's going to be like, you got to get out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it goes, right?
Hey, talk about Andrew Short. We've seen him take a lot of our money. Supercross Live, we pay $1,500 to get that whole shot. And there we see a shot of him getting a whole shot right there. But he's got a little bit of a different gearbox than everybody else to help him get those starts. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so obviously last week on the show, they were talking about how he's been doing third gear starts. And it's interesting because I've talked to Chad Reed, I've talked to these guys, and of course you could say, hey, everyone just go to third gear starts.
Right.
But what's not talked about is you really have to re-gear your bike to be able to pull that off. You know, say Chad Reed's running a 51 tooth rear sprocket.
Right.
You would have to go to like a 53 tooth rear sprocket. So that's going to really change how your bike works on the track, and what gear you're in all the turns and rhythm sections and all that. And for Chad, he's like, I'll take my chances on the start. I don't like the way my bike works when I run that. So
yeah.
For Andrew, he's gotten used to it. He agrees with that, and on the starts, it's obviously working. So it's just a different approach, and clearly it's working for those guys, though.
Well, geez, I mean, at what point at Daytona main event, what lap did you start going, okay, lap 11, lap 12, you know, he's leading that thing.
Yeah, and I kind of knew the backstory. He had food poisoning in Atlanta the week before.
Bad day.
And then the night before, he had to fly in on that private jet at the last second, got to sleep at 4 in the morning. So for me, I was almost counting off laps saying, it's coming. He's going to get tired at some point. I just knew, because I talked to him right before the race, and he's like, man, I'm beat down. Yeah. I don't feel good right now. So then when he gets out there and he gets a whole shot, it's all this adrenaline. But you know, Jim, you know, the adrenaline's going to wear off at some point.
Sure.
And then it's just a survival mode, and that's what happened with him.
I think that, you know, KTM and BTO Sports and everything with Andrew Short over there, I mean, he's a great development rider. I mean, look at how many years he was at Honda, helping Honda, and then he comes over to you guys. But I want to talk a little bit about the Butler brothers, because I remember when I was broadcasting, when I first got into it, they were professional riders also.
Right. Yeah, and you know, their whole family's been about riding, and that's why they're here. They started out, they were racing pro races. There were 3 brothers that had turned pro, and they were just trying to find a way to get to the races. And that's, you know, they groomed that and developed sponsorship partnerships, and into what it is now. I mean, they have a factory level race team with 2 of the best guys in the sport under their tent.
With a huge sponsor with BTOsports.com, you know, and that's cool. That's what I like seeing, is somebody like that that's doing it because they love it, and they're smart enough and savvy enough business-wise to keep a sponsor like that on board and keep so many people employed, you know, like Justin Brayton. He's been a factory rider for 10 years, and now he's still a factory rider because of the success of that team. You have factory KTM bikes.
Right, and that's the thing, you know, Forrest and I have been friends for 20 years, like I said, and we'll be sitting around at dinner sometimes, and it's just quiet, and be like, man, can you know, when we were 17, 18, and he was a couple years older than me, but we were cruising around in our truck going riding, could you imagine you having this team and then me racing pro and doing all the things I'm doing now? Could you imagine that back then? He's just like, no, until you stop and think about where we've come to, it's crazy to think about, you know, because you build into it. It's not like it happened overnight. Right. It's just a slow, you know, evolution into it.
Well, talk about your other rider that's over there at the BTOsports.com. Justin Brayton making his comeback here. Yes. We had him on the show in Atlanta. He did a great job. We see a picture of him right there. and he had some injuries. But do you ever talk to him a little bit about, hey, you know what, this is the first ride, but I mean his times were good today?
Yeah, he's feeling all right. I think he's trying to ease back into it. You know, there's no points on the line, there's no pressure, no one expects him to go out there and win the race. So move back into it at your own pace, find your own little rhythm, and then try to get a good weekend under your belt that you can build on. Because that's the whole thing with this series. It's about momentum. You know, you see these guys coming. Seely's gotten better and better and better. It wasn't like he came out and won Anaheim 1, but now he's a legitimate threat to win a race now. So I think it's the same for Justin. Hey, come in, do as good as you can, build, and lead that into, you know, the end of the series and try to put in a good finish.
Absolutely. Right. Well, hey, man, we know you got to put in a good finish here in your workday. Thanks for coming on Race
Absolutely.
Day Live. We know
Appreciate
you're busy.
It. Good to see you guys.
Keep writing the awesome columns, and don't stay off that bike too long, man.
I actually got to ride this week, so
good.
Trying to still put some time in.
Cool. Well, stay tuned. We got Diana Dahlgren coming to join us up next. That's going to be fun. And we had some interviews with her, and check them out.
I'm Miss Supercross, Diana Dahlgren, and this is SX Ed. Welcome to the 2013 Supercross season. So shy! God! I hate this line.
How good could you see that in the camera?
I've never heard the word bro cowboy. It's like
swag.
And welcome back to Ford Field. Diana's going to join us here in a little bit, but join us right now is a very, very special guest. Welcome to Race Day Live, Jean-Michel Bayle, 1991 250 Supercross champion, man.
Thanks.
Tell us about that year. That was one of the biggest years in the history of Supercross. You know, how well do you remember it?
For sure, for me, it's a great memory. You know, it was a big dream for me because I was living in France, very far away from America. And at this time, American rider was dominate the world of Supercross and the world of motocross. So for me, as coming to America and racing in America was already a dream. So get the championship was a big thing for me. But you know, so I got very good memory because you know, it was nice opportunity to come race here, and I'm very glad I did it.
Well, you had a couple of obstacles in your way with Damon Bradshaw and Jeff Stanton. You know, what an awesome battle you guys had. One of the best rivalries in the history of our sport. What was it like racing those two legends?
Well, you know, it was quite hard because, you know, like I say, because, you know, I was French and I was the first one to come over here to race the championship. So, of course, it was not easy. And but that was great because I came here for the competition and I have competition. And that's why I came here, and that's why today I'm happy because I was no, I beat him, but this is not only the question because I race with them, and of course I win a championship. But the main thing, you know, I proved and I can race here and I can be the faster guy on the track, and this was my goal.
But who is, I mean, you had to have talked to somebody, and obviously I think it was Roger DeCoster. You gave him a call and said, look, Roger, you know, I've won world championships. You know, I need to challenge myself. And Roger's saying, well, hey, we got a spot for you over here. If you want to challenge yourself, come over and ride Supercross. And you've paved the way for a lot of other French riders. I'm talking Michael Pichon, David Villemin, you know, Steve Boniface. It goes on down the line to Marvin Muskin, the guy that's leading the East Coast Championship right now.
Yeah, of course. Like I said, I was the first one, so everything was not easy. I was lucky to have the right people with me, like Roger de Coster. For sure, he helped me a lot. I think if he wasn't here, my dream was not possible. So everything came together, and I was able to race here and to win a championship. And so, for me, it's a good satisfaction. But it's not. When I came here, it was not for my dream was not to beat the American.
Yeah.
My dream was mainly to race against the best competition in the world.
Yeah.
And I was so happy to win, but I never say I'm a best one. I just was satisfied to win the championship. That was already very big for me.
Well, something, Andy, that you probably don't know, and Jean-Michel remembers, I got a call from Yamaha, and they said, hey, we got this new YZ400. We want to introduce it to the Japanese crowd. We want you to go take a lap at, in Chiba and Marine Stadium there. And I said, well, man, I haven't ridden in such a long time. Yeah, but you got a big following over here. We want you to do it. And Jean-Michel Bayle's going to be there, too. And I'm going to, okay, so you're throwing me up against one of the guys that,
the greatest ever.
I'm a little bit older than him, but I idolized his riding style. I mean, a very fluid, poetry in motion like David Bailey, and to come over and to do what he did. And after his Supercross and motocross career, he goes over and rides MotoGPs for Yamaha. So, I mean, the hardest thing for me to do is I was so scared I was going to overjump the triple jump in this thing. I remember talking to you.
Yeah, but you were good on a jump, so you did a good job there.
But I got to tell you, to be honest, I was a little bit nervous because I was the two-stroke era, and here I got all this power. I'm going, Jim, don't blow it, throw it sideways, wave to the crowd or whatever, but do not overjump that triple jump.
That was cool memory.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, Jean-Michel, something's going on right now that's kind of similar to what you did, but it's reversed. Ryan Villopoto is going over to ride the GPs because he wants to race the best in the world. Talk to us about what do you think his chances are to continue on with that championship?
For sure, he knows how to ride a bike, and he's fast on the track, that's for sure. He's four-time Supercross champion, and this is not luck. It's because he's a very good rider. So this is no question about it. The only difficulty in Europe is we are traveling a lot. The tracks are so different every week, so you got to adapt to it every time. And you can see it's always different rider who wins the race because the tracks are so different. So I think it's not going to be easy for him to adapt to this kind of thing. But I'm sure he's fast on the track, and I saw that 2 weeks ago in Thailand. He was very fast, and I think he have a good chance to be world champion. And I'm so happy that he did, because I like challenge, and what he's doing, coming to Europe, race against the best European, it's great for the sport and it's great for everybody.
Absolutely.
We have a Twitter question, Jacob.
That's a great question.
Where's Porcel? Do you know where?
I don't know.
Christophe Porcel is? You don't know where he's at.
I don't know where it is. The last time I saw him was in a Supercross in Paris in last November. But I don't know if he's really focused on racing anymore. He just raced sometime, but I don't know. I don't know what he's doing and what is his plan for this year.
What are you doing here in Detroit? You helping some of the HRC riders?
Well, HRC is coming back very strong in Europe and also in America. So of course I work for them for all motocross in Europe. So I am on my way to go to Argentina Grand Prix next week. So it was a good opportunity to stop and to watch one race and to look. Also it's good to speak with the people here for the American Honda team, because we can talk about the bike, we can exchange, and we can make progress together. So and also for me, it's always good to come to a race and to watch the Supercross. It's not easy to watch because I always remember my career and everything, but it's always nice to come back and to see all my American friends and like you, and thank you.
Well, I hope I'm a new friend, but no, man, thanks for coming to the show. But you talked about being competitive, and when you won your championships in 1991, you'd done it. You were done, and then you wanted to move on to something else. That's something I really respected about Rick and Carmichael, both of you guys. When you were done, you were done. But talk about that road racing transition and how difficult that was.
Yeah, of course it was very difficult because I started road racing at 23 years old. It's a little bit late to race in a World Championship, but I try my best. It was difficult for me to be competitive in 250 class because the bike was so small, but in 500 it was a lot more easy. My best place is a 6th in the championship, and I got some pole position, many 4th position finish.
Yeah.
I race with the best guy in the world, like Mike Doohan, you know, and for me it was, I'm so proud also that I was able to do it, because also that was a dream when I was a kid.
Awesome.
And that was hard back then. I mean, they didn't have traction control. You had to, they were running, you know, you had to have good throttle control, and you had to reteach yourself how to ride a motorcycle, basically. Everybody knows, you know, what you can do on the dirt, but there's a whole different riding style and a different mindset when you go race on a road race course.
Yeah, and at this time, like you say, it was a 2-stroke 500, very powerful, no traction control. Very difficult to find the limit on the bike, and you can see all the people crash, even the best like Mick Doohan crash many times. So for sure I have a couple bad times with some crash, but it was so fun to do it.
Well, I know all the fans at home, they want to know, are you still riding the dirt bike a little bit now?
Well, you know, I still ride because, you know, I love motorcycle since I am kid. So I'm riding trial bike, enduro, motocross, and road race. Because road race today is more easy because it's no, you know, physically it's very easy to do road race. So actually, I have a lot of fun riding road race.
Cool. And you got a chance to, I saw some pictures of you riding a Honda Dirt Tracker also.
Yeah, you know, like I said, I love motorcycles. So when I grew up, you have the #1 in America a very long time ago. All class. Schobert. Yeah, and also all class.
Yeah.
Like the #1. And that was my dream also, to be #1 in every class. So that's why I did everything.
There you go. Well, we know we got to cut you loose, but we want to thank you for coming on Race Day Live, and good luck to HRC tonight here in Detroit. Maybe Cole Seeley can get his first in his 450 career, but thanks for coming on the show, Jean-Michel.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. We got 250C qualifying #2 on track right now, and Keith Tucker is out there, but we're going to go to commercial. We'll be right back. We still have Diana Dahlgren coming up, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan, and join us right now is 5-time Miss Supercross Diana Dahlgren. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys.
It's been a while since you've been on.
I know, it's been a while because they have me running ragged all around here.
You're busy.
Yeah. You know, usually when we have pits, I'm out in the pits all day long. And there's usually a long line, to be honest with you, so I really don't get away for that much time. So it's the only time they get to meet me. So dedicated to the fans.
Well, you know, for the fans watching, our numbers just spiked because we got Diana Dahlgren on. I mean, it's absolutely. You know, history doesn't lie. When you've been on before, the numbers just spike up. And
well, thanks.
Yeah, we're putting a little pressure on you.
A little pressure on me.
I got to ask you, those Supercross Fit Ed.
Supercross Ed, yeah.
Yeah, see,
Supercross Ed.
Yeah, Supercross Ed. I mean, those are fun for you shooting. I've talked off camera and say, hey, those are pretty cool spots. I enjoy watching them myself.
Yeah, you know, when I got to do it with the riders, they were really fun. Yeah, the scripts were great. Like, especially the first year was hilarious. So yeah, they were really fun filming, and I don't think they were really that educational, if I do say so myself, but they were just funny. And if for some reason I happen to be Miss Supercross again, I'm sure we'll shoot them again and make sure they're awesome.
You know, you say for some reason, you know, but you've done it for 5 years, and that's been super awesome and super successful, and there's a lot of reasons for that. You're an awesome girl, awesome personality, but you ride. Tell us about how long you've been on dirt bikes.
Well, you know, to be honest with you, I grew up going out to Glamis, Ocotillo. You know, I grew up in Temecula, California, Lake Elsinore, and that's just where you're born and raised to do those kind of things. When I lived there, when I grew up there was no homes out in the field. I mean, it's so built up now, but there was just literally nothing out there. And you could literally hop on your dirt bike right down the street and you were like cruising in the desert. So that's basically how I got started. My brother rode Supercross. He was a privateer for a couple years. Then he got a girlfriend. And so that's how I know all about Supercross. I came Supercross growing up. Jeremy McGrath was obviously my favorite. And then towards the end of my like Supercross kid era was Ricky Carmichael, and just knowing all these people, and now working aside, like, you know, I'm on Fox Sports with Jeremy McGrath and the GOAT all the time. It's so funny. So it's just totally a blessing.
I remember the first time I met you, San Francisco. I was doing some interviews with some of the riders, and I think it was Michael Slater's bike I was interviewing. Dinah comes up to me and she goes, can I ride this? can I ride this bike? And I go,
Are you serious?
yeah, sure, why not? And she just took command of the motorcycle and knew exactly what she was doing.
Jen,
And she had high heels on, I think, or something.
I did. Actually, I still Google that video from time to time just because it's so funny. Because I was only 18 or 19 in that video. It was right when I first became a Monster girl and started working for Monster for Supercross, and before I was even Miss Supercross. And it was just so happened that, yeah, you were riding by, you were doing interviews for this show, like always. And
I was a little bit worried, to be honest.
no, you know what they said? You know what he said? He said, if you can start it, you can ride it.
Right, that's what
you can start a 450 with tennis shoes on.
I can start a 450 with high heels on.
Yeah,
Don't kid yourself.
Come on, Andy. She got high heels.
So yeah, and then it's really cool for me and the fans, because it just shows everybody, I think, that I'm not like the typical, stereotypical
blonde-haired,
model. Blonde-haired girl. Yeah, totally like Pops hooked me up growing up.
What about this photo here? This is pretty cool. Now, I know you're engaged, and you and your husband to-be have a bar up in Spokane. You've relocated up in Spokane, but I mean, does he get jealous on that one? I mean,
yeah, he totally does.
He does,
like,
no doubt.
You know what? He's not like, you can't do that or anything. He's totally like, it's awesome. Do I like a guy with your hand wrapped around you? No, I don't. But totally, absolutely love that I got another cover, and he's my biggest cheerleader supporter, and he just. Yeah.
Well, as long as you go home and you say, honey, I had to do that, and here's the photos, but you're still my hunk of man candy.
Yes, he's my man candy. Yeah, no, it's a wonderful thing. Fitness, I do fitness. That's another thing Pops blessed me with. He's a big dude, and he blessed me with athletic genetics, so I've been able to work that in my modeling career and have a lot of fun with that. I have 2 covers out this month, one on fitness, women's fitness RX, and then, only one woman a year gets to grace fitness or muscular development, and this is my 2nd year in a row being on muscular development. So big, awesome blessing. And yeah, I mean, own a bar, you're right. I moved up to Spokane, up to Spokane, Washington.
Now, how's that from Temecula to Spokane?
Oh, God, it was rough because I moved
There's
up
a photo
there.
of your bar?
Yeah, so we serve breakfast on St. Patty's Day. We did an all-you-can-eat breakfast, and then we have everything backlit, like a bunch of different features backlit. So we had it on, like, St. Patty's Day green all day long. And we just killed it the whole day. But, I'm not there on weekends. I don't get to see what it's like. It's very busy, though. It's the hot new bar in town, and we're just so lucky because we put 7 months of demolition and building that thing out. I know what's in every nook and cranny of that place, and my business partner who runs it is just awesome because he's there day in, day out. His name's James, and yeah, the 3 of us during the week, we're there, and we love it. We own it, and it's just so cool owning your own restaurant and bar. I mean, the food is amazing. It's not like typical bar food, It's not like your fried mozzarella sticks. It's like gourmet food. It's pretty much a gastro pub. Really good food, a lot of taps, and full bar. And then on weekends we have dancing and all that good stuff. So I don't get to enjoy the weekend fun. I get to be here at Supercross. So I actually like it because it seems to be a headache when it's packed in there and all that. So business partners holding it down.
All right, well, let me ask you this. You're here on the weekends.
Yeah.
The season here in 2015, a phenomenal year. We talked about who's next.
Dungy's back.
You saw, just killing it.
Yeah.
I mean, the Orange Crush, him and Muskin.
Yeah.
But, Kenny Roczen, goes out. He wins both Anaheims, and Eli Tomac gets his first of his career. I mean, a lot of changes.
Trey Canard's back.
But it's that the Orange Crush rolling right along. What do you see in the future, the next 6 rounds here tonight, and then after that we have, St. Louis and, all the other ones?
Yeah, to be honest with you, Dungey is the most consistent rider we've had. He has the most starts out, averaged in the last couple years. I mean, the guy is just on it constantly. I think it's kind of funny how Filippoto leaves and goes overseas, and then Eldon and him are training together now, So, I mean, I know Eldon's program, and it's crazy. It's gnarly. So, I mean, that guy is, if you thought he was dedicated before with Eldon, I mean, whew,
now he's really on it, right?
Yeah, he's really. We all know Eldon breeds champions, but it's not just a little bit of like, okay, let's go ride a cycle today, and maybe we'll ride the cycle tomorrow, and let's lift some weights on Wednesday. It's like you don't get a rest day. You're on it, every day, and so obviously it's paid off, and it's absolutely amazing to see the outcome. You know, I think he finally found his stride. He got that 4th place in Anaheim, the first Anaheim, and then ever since then he's been in the top 3. And there could be another first. I mean, for this year, we haven't seen anyone go first this long. I mean, I don't think in a couple of years.
4 in a row. I haven't seen 4 in a row in a long time.
Yeah,
exactly.
we haven't. The whole time I've been in Supercross, definitely haven't. So.
Well, speaking of that, you've done 5 in a row. We want to thank you for coming up. We got to get back on track. So thanks for coming up to Race Day Live.
Yeah, no problem. Hopefully, guys.
Anything you want to say to any fans, Race Day Live? You want to give a shout out to our fans listening in?
I love all you guys. I love all the fans, and you know, I hope to meet every single one of you every single weekend. Unfortunately, I don't get to, so just know that I love all of you, and thanks for having me as 5-time Miss Supercross.
And if they're in Spokane, make sure you check out your restaurant. Come in and say hi.
Come on and by. It's a really awesome place, and I'm there always during the week, so you can see me Monday, Sunday through Thursday.
I can just see all of our fans that are admires you right now on the computer booking a flight to Spokane during the middle of the week.
Book it. Let's go. Come on. You can meet me in Spokane. Well, it's practice time going on right now.
We're back on the track, and the big story right here is, of course, Vicky Golden into 250B qualifying number 2 to see if she can get into the night show. So.
Yeah, you know what? She was so close last weekend, and she was the alternate down there, and I was rooting for her. She's so cool. It's just so happens the last couple of weeks we've been staying in the hotel room right next to each other, and so I talked to her, and she's just a cool, down-to-earth girl, and she just wants to qualify so bad. She's almost there, so hopefully this weekend, I mean, you can pick up some serious momentum on this track, especially with that turn up into the stands.
Right.
Not only that, you know, there is going to be a kicker with that sand section in the far part of the track. So we'll see what happens. A lot of rhythm here, and looks like a good track. It's definitely going to be some awesome racing, and it's great to see the old Pontiac turn up in the stands.
Yeah, going up in there. There's Vicky Golden right now, sitting 11th right now with, well, she just moved down a 109 there, but
109.5.
her fastest, a 109.1 in that first time practice, so we'll see if she can improve on that. So.
Yeah, you know, she has been constantly improving every single weekend. So, you know, it's well known that the first practice is just a practice to kind of fill out the track, see where she's going, what she's doing. She's also been really well known this last couple East Coast rounds to just fill it out, and then she bangs out a really fast lap at the last practice, at the last couple minutes of qualifying. So hopefully we'll see the times constantly improve.
Yeah, you're going to see Preston Mull now up on the top with that 57.5. Williams right behind him with a 58.4, and then right behind him, the man from Australia, Mr. Taylor Potter with a 59.8. Those guys were consistently up in that top 3 that first go around there.
Absolutely. With about 6 minutes to go, there's still a lot of time, and Preston Mull has been the fastest guy in the first session. He's definitely jumped up there now. He's a full second faster than Zach Williams. But, you know, Vicky has that 109.5. So
one of the riders lost it in the sand, lost that front end there. That's number 708.
The sand is no joke. I had to ride a dirt bike, I mean, 5th gear pinned in the sand dunes, Glamis sand dunes when we filmed the Doonies 6 months ago. And I've never been so scared because I was in a bikini, no helmet. Like, I think I had riding boots on, but that was it. I was like, I'm gonna ruin my face today.
That looked like that was a cool experience. That was a great video.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's so awesome. It's just so cool to see all these industries being pulled together. You have the off-road, the 4-wheel guys. You have freestyle. You have motocross. I mean, you have big names in there: McGrath, Twitch, Bilko. I mean, everybody was there, so it's awesome.
Well, Vicky jumped up to a 104.6, so
that might do it. A 104.6.
I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen,
I'm telling you, she does
104.629. That's 18th fastest here in B qualifier, but I'm telling you, I think that might have got her into the show. We're going to track that. We're going to keep our information on it and see if we can, transmit the information that she's made it. But that's fast. A 104.6 might put her into the night show tonight.
Well, she took off 5 seconds, so clearly,
that might have been
it up.
Might have been the lap she was looking for there.
And that's going to be huge to get her into, for her confidence going into next weekend in St. Louis. If she can get in and run a heat race and run a last chance race, that's more laps, more time on the track.
You know, it's amazing because a couple years ago we switched that arena cross format. We did the Road to Supercross with Ricky Carmichael. And we've just seen some major success out of that series now. We have Tyler Bowers, who crushes it on the West Coast.
Aaron Plessinger, who just came up.
We have, Plessinger, and then we have Vicky Golden now. I mean, it's the first girl. We've had girls, you know, in the last 30 years, like here and there, like one race maybe, but she is the first girl to actually qualify into Supercross. And hopefully we'll see her during the live show.
There she is right there, 4:23. Vicky Golden coming around that left-hander. Nice seat hop there. Keep it rolling through that timing section. You know, talk about some of the other guys, Dinah, on that East Coast, getting his first podium last week on the East. R.J. Hampshire, graduate of the AMSOIL Arena Cross Series, and then right behind him, his teammate there, Jordan Smith.
Right. Man, you guys have such a cool job being up here, and you're done by the night show.
No, we still got.
Well, we still got
interviews, but you get to like watch the races. You know that I never get to watch the races. The only one that I kind of get to watch is the semis because I have to interview the winner afterwards.
It's hard to see down there. No, it's just the vantage point from up here. I'm glad you enjoy it. We've been trying to get you to come up for a couple weeks, so we're super glad to have you.
No, you guys have been trying to get me up here all season long, but I'm really pressed for time. I told Prater, our boss, the head of Supercross, and he's always like, I want you to do this. I'm like, listen, Dave.
I'm a busy woman.
You've put 10 different jobs on me. I'm doing the best I can. I feel like I rock it. I feel like I do. I mean, I'm at TV. I'm here during the live show. I'm announcing. I got to go out to the pits. I got to go up to the stands. I got to come back down from the stands. I'm all over the board.
Well, and Steve Bauer just texted me. You know Steve Bauer. He says you look amazing today on the screen. So.
Cool, and don't forget, guys, if you have some live tweets you want to send us and ask Diana some questions, it's AskRDL, #AskRDL. But with about 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go here, it's still Preston Mole. He's followed by Hairline, Williams, Stewart, and Taylor Potter's your top 5. Vicky Golden still has a 104.2, and that's going to be close to seeing if she gets into the night show.
She dropped it down. She took a couple more tenths off of that, so a
102.2,
yeah, so we'll see. That sounds like a radio station.
I think she's only going to get better by the next practice. You know, we're in the second qualifying right here, and I think it's going to get a lot better.
We got a live tweet here from Jamie in Bel Air. What do you think about Dakotas' prospects tonight? How do you think he's going to do, the Ripper?
I think he's going to do awesome. He actually is, I feel like he's not looked at enough. Dakotas has some amazing talent. We've seen him up on the podium. We've seen him get some hole shots before. I think
he's
I got a little tongue twisted.
He's gaining a lot of confidence, though. I mean, he had a 6th last week. He had a 6th in Daytona. And if your memory serves me correctly, last year I thought he was going to get his first win here.
Yes,
he was in the hunt for the battle. So anytime as a former rider you come back to a place where you almost got your first, it's a good sense. So I look for him possibly, hopefully, to be on the podium tonight.
Yeah, no, he's an East Coast kid. East Coast is definitely his realm. He has a lot of friends, family coming to all these races. I'm sure in New York City we're going to see all of his family and friends coming out there. I believe he's from Massachusetts. And yeah, he's a ripper. I mean, he has some amazing talent. I wonder what really breeds consistency is what the key factor is with most of our Supercross riders. We have so many riders who can all of a sudden get a 2nd or a 3rd and then drop down to a 10th. It's just they're kind of all over the board. So I really think we should get Dungey.
We got to talk to Ryan Dungey.
What are you doing for all of your consistency? Because we need to get some of these other younger Supercross riders up on the same program.
Right, and well, Jimmy Dakotas was in the top 5 in qualifying session number 1, so his prospects look really good. So keep sending those questions in, and we'll answer them for you. If you have one for Diana, Jim, or myself, it's #AskRDL. But with just about 30 seconds to go here, it's still Preston Mole, followed by Herline, Taylor Potter, Zach Williams, and Stewart.
We have so many hashtags this year. #AskRDL, #Who's Next,
Supercross on Fox, #Race Day Live.
Yeah, SX on Fox. I know, it's funny.
Getting a chance to watch Williams here. Let's see that double there. He's going to seat hop that, land on the downside. It looks like he's making it look easy right there, but it's definitely hard. Oh, there's the white flag with the red cross. That's going to slow the boys down a little bit. I'm not sure. I think it's a little prematurely to put that out, and maybe a yellow flag. It's one of the riders off to the side in the whoops, but they're looking at him, and Dr. John Bogner's down there, so it is warranted to have that white flag with the red cross.
You know, I think with this big turn here in front of the start straight, I think we're going to see it's going to be really slick here. You can see that the dirt's already starting to push to that hard pack underneath. Not only that, the track's already looking dry, so we're going to have the Feld Supercross crew. I know they'll get out and start fixing it before the night show tonight. yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be a slick track. Like I said earlier, it has a lot of rhythm. These guys are going to have to nail down the style of this track, or you can get caught up really badly in some of these
timing sections
over here. Yeah, these timing sections. So I really don't see a whole lot of time being made up until that old Pontiac turn up into the stands.
Well, something that the Feld track crew that you mentioned did was take out the last whoop, and they were all the 250Fs were having a hard trouble making it over the big triple. Since they took out that last whoop, the 250Fs are making it over there a lot more safely, you know, so we didn't have as many yellow flags on that part of the track. But like you mentioned, the sand section, the technical rhythm lanes, it's drying out. It's going to be a tough race here tonight on Fox Sports 1. This weekend's Fox Sports 1, so tune into that tonight. But, you know, coming up, we got the 250A, so it's going to be, oh, here we go, got another question.
Who's trained the most champions, Eldon or Gary
Gary Simics. Gary Simics, an old friend of mine.
Here's what I think. You know, Eldon's trained the modern day champions. So you have, I mean, we have Carmichael, we have Stewart, we have Philip Hodo, now we have Dungey. I mean, these are 4 major players in the last 10 years of Supercross. So.
Well, and that was from Kurt Binke. He always tweets into our show and gives us his picks and things like that. But I know that, you know, back in the day when I was racing and Gary Simics was around, you know, he came to me and said, there's going to be a guy, and he's a really good guy that I'm kind of working with. And that guy was Jeremy McGrath.
Yeah. Wow, that's what I knew he worked with some of the semi-modern guys, but I forgot that it was McGrath.
Yep.
Didn't he also work with RJ at the end of his career, maybe a little bit?
Yeah, I think so, a little bit. You know, but Gary's been around a long time, and you know, he rode for the Can-Am factory, Kawasaki, and things like that back in the late 70s, early 80s.
That was before my time, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, that's before most of the guys that are coming up next here in the 250A qualifier number 2, where it's been Justin Bogle was fast, but Marvin Muskin's really just been on fire lately.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, once you pick up that confidence of 1 or 2 wins, I mean, really, what we've seen in past histories, there's just no stopping them.
Right.
You know, we're what, the 7th round of the East Coast, or the
6th or 7th, right?
Yeah, no, we're the 6th. We have St. Louis and we have New York City. I mean, there's just really no stopping these guys at this point. I don't even think there's a way, if we look down at the points breakdown, that Muskin is going to lose this championship at this point.
Well,
I
he's
mean,
got a 16-point lead. Anything can happen.
He would have to basically get hurt and not finish tonight in order for the next person to jump up.
Here, I'm going to give you the
here we go.
There they are right there.
Bogle's the only guy that has a chance right now.
Yeah.
When Martin missed the main event last week, and that definitely set them 2 apart from the pack. But the way he's riding, and like you just mentioned, you know, once you get that confidence and once you get on a roll, it's a tough thing to stop. It all goes back to confidence.
Same thing with Dungey, you know, like we've seen him in the past. His confidence played a huge role. He's always been consistent, but one year I believe he didn't get a win at all. And he just constantly kept on getting seconds, and it's just like you get stuck in a rut. It's mentally that's just the game of life, you know. That's in any kind of sport. You just kind of get stuck in that hole, and it's hard to get out of it. So, I mean, hopefully we'll see here tonight another win from the orange team.
Yeah. Well, we have the A qualifying coming up. Stay with us. We'll have a commercial break. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Ford Field here in Detroit. 250A qualifying number 2 is on track. We're looking at Luke Rensland right there.
Yeah, Luke putting in some good rides, you know. Oh, just as I said that.
Oh, God, shoulder.
Hopefully he'll be all right. He's a tough kid.
Sometimes we slow-mo these back. Look, he doesn't, I don't know. That doesn't look too good, Jim.
He went right into the face of
you know,
there pretty hard.
That shoulder, oh, man, I broke my collarbone before. That's no joke. It still hurts me like 20 years later. I broke it when I was 5. I don't understand how these guys...
Right.
You know, I'm 25. These guys are pretty much all within the same age range as me, and you know, their bodies. I'm just like, man, you guys seriously, you're gonna need some titanium limbs here in the next 10 years.
Well, Jim's got some titanium.
Yeah, wait till they get older.
You have some titanium.
Well, there's
Jordan Smith right there in the whoops.
Off of top 4 position last weekend in Indianapolis. He has a broken hand. He's kind of had to ride himself back into shape, but him and his fellow rookie teammate RJ Hampshire have really been surprising and really coming on strong as of late.
Yeah, you know, I feel like Geico or the Honda team always does that.
Right.
You know, they always get these fresh guys in Supercross, and they just, I mean, they are fast.
Well, I think what it attributes to is their amateur program. They have a pretty good amateur program where they're developing these riders and making that transition into the AMSOIL Arena Cross Series and then into the Monster Energy Supercross so easy for a lot of the guys.
Yeah.
That was Jay Sowen right there, and he's fresh off his first top 10 last weekend.
Yeah, and like we were just saying, you know, this track's a little scary. You know, how fast these guys are going through these very technical rhythm sections. I mean, they're going to have to nail it each time, and if they don't, I mean, it's right over the handlebars for these guys.
You know, it's like you said, Jim and Diana, Geico has a very strong amateur program, and I was just at the Ricky Carmichael Amateur Supercross, and Tristan Charbonneau, who raced at the Monster Energy Cup, he's their next guy that they're trying to groom to bring up. So it's going to be interesting. But this guy right here, Marvin Muskin, 3 in a row he's won right now. I don't know if he can be stopped.
Yeah, I definitely don't think so. You know, guys, we also wanted to say hi to Max from Sweden. You know, I'm actually Swedish. I'm Swedish descent. My family's from Sweden, so. What's up, Max? Is it a double? Are you sure it's not a double X?
No, it's just one X. But that's the son of Patrick, the Honda importer from Sweden. They were actually over here in the Anaheim, the final time in San Diego. They get a chance, and I got a chance to go ride with Patrick at LACR and stuff. We had a great weekend, and Nils was out there. He brings about 4 or 5 of his buddies over here. They just can't take the snow anymore. They got to come out west to LA and have a good time. But thanks for listening in, guys.
Yeah, thanks guys for listening in.
Well, I tell you what, Jay Sowen continues his hot streak. He put out the top not the top for a while it was, but now he's in the top 4. It's the 4th fastest time. Your top 5 right now early on in the going are Marvin Muskin, Joey Sabachi, Justin Bogle, Jay Sowen, and Jordan Smith.
Yeah, these guys at this point are really starting to etch out hundredths of seconds, you know, to get that #1 qualifying spot. And if someone beats Muskin, I'm gonna be very shocked. What has rookie Luke Rensland brought to the team from Cody Clyde 651 on Twitter? What do you guys think of that?
Well, he's actually brought quite a bit. He's a new exciting rookie for Christina. Oh, there goes Anthony Rodriguez down. But he's an exciting young rookie for Christina Denny's team at Cycle Trader Rock River Yamaha, and he has a big practice track down there in Florida. And a lot of those guys go to his place in practice.
Well, and you talk to him, you know, what he brings to the table is, I mean, a rookie finishing up 11th last weekend in Indianapolis. That was a great ride for him, and you know, he's sitting 13th in the points. The only thing, he had a little hiccup and didn't make that main event the first time we were at Anaheim there on the 21st of February. But I mean, Christina Denny, she was a guest on our show, and she's really up on this guy. And you know something, Diana, with his number, 343, I asked him where that number was, and he's from New Jersey. He says that's a tribute to 9/11, the firefighters that were lost in 9/11. So, I mean, I think this kid's got a bright future in the sport.
Matthew Lemoyne down hard.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they were going to red flag this one.
Practice. Oh, that's not good for Lemoyne.
5 minutes to go still in this one. They're going to go back and talk to mechanic. Hopefully, Matthew Lemoyne, he'll be okay. I mean, he's a tough kid.
Yeah, you know, we've seen numerous people get red flagged during practice this year, and they come back during the night show, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that was that, you know, the left-hander, when you make that left-hander, you have to seed hop that triple, and maybe just came up a little short. We didn't get a chance to see it, but hopefully Matthews will be back up and with us. He had not a bad time. He was sitting 8th in the time practice there with a 56.6, but up front still Marvin Muskin with that 54.0, and if you look at that 54.0, that's still not quite as fast as that first time practice with a 53.8. So,
but it's still him, right?
and they still got a lot of time. They have 5 minutes left in this time practice. While the Asterix Mobile Medical Crew and Dr. John Bogner, you know, he's in good hands.
Hey, Matthew Lemoyne's still down right now. We're going to keep our thoughts and prayers with him while they tend to him and make sure that he's getting the best care that he can from the Asterix Medical Unit. But we have another question here from Twitter. You can read it there, Diana. What is the best part you love about Monster Energy Supercross?
The best part. There really is not one best part. There really isn't. This is the #1 sport that I can say. You know, I didn't grow up watching football or baseball or anything like. We were not a family. My brothers and sisters didn't play sports. You know, we grew up every weekend going to the river, going to the desert. So, for me, I think there's a nostalgia here for me that it's just everything. I mean, if you want to know what's really cool and sets us apart is the pyro, the opening ceremonies. I mean, that's what really gets your adrenaline going and gets you, you know, excited for the races. You know, the fans are awesome. I just cannot believe the fan base and it's really to thank because of one, because of Supercross, but two, because of Fox Sports having us on every single weekend live, you know, and I cover the social media on there. I mean, I can't walk down the street on a weekend without someone knowing me. Last night, going to the hotel, had no makeup on. I gladly support all natural, and they still recognize me, and they're like, want to get a picture? I'm like, you sure? Like, I'm a little tore up looking right now, but you know, they own it. They're like, no, we don't care. We love you.
Well, and I think the other thing also with the fans is the riders are so accessible. You know, you can get an autograph. You go to a stick and ball sport, and you're not going to get that autograph for the top players.
No. But, there he is.
There we go.
That's a good sign.
Matthew's up. That's really good.
Yeah, he's walking. That's a really good sign. So I wonder what's going. I wonder if we just kind of knocked the air out of his lungs.
Took a shot. Yeah.
Let's hope. It looks like his right shoulder might be a little bit. He's not moving his right shoulder too good. But Steve Hutchins down there, you know, looking after him.
And if anyone doesn't know who Steve Hutchins is, he's a great. We call him Chappie around here, and he's here every single weekend. Gives up every single weekend to be here with the riders. He's our minister, and you know, is with these guys. As soon as they get hurt, as soon as they're on the way to the hospital, he's there with every single one of them, and being there with the family and communicating with the families and whatnot. So thanks, Chappie, for everything. I know that he's helped me out a time or two as well.
Yeah. Well, you know, 5 years of Supercross, you know, you've seen a lot of things. Tell us a quick story. We have a couple minutes here. Tell us a funny story, you know, just from one of those 5 years.
Oh, God, I had a funny story at the very beginning here. We had the San Diego round.
Yeah.
I was typical like routine. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, get like brushed up for the 450 main event card, and then I have TV right after that.
You're gonna say that one?
Yeah, the
really?
250, or it was either the I think it was the 250 main event card. And walked to the bathroom and fixed my hair. The show office was kind of a little far away from the tunnel, the track opening where we go out. And I'm just doing my hair. I'm like, yeah, I'll be fine. Well, I walk back and I see them revving up their bikes, and I'm like, okay, they're gonna do the parade lap right now. And I asked one of the Monster girls, and there's a guy standing right behind her. I'm like, they're doing the parade lap right now, right? And she goes, yeah, they are. And then the guy's like, no. And I'm like, no. I look back, and they're revving. They're getting ready to like bend down.
Yeah.
And I look out, and I see the AMA official about to put up a 30-second card. And I just sprinted with the digital board. And TV was about to play it back, but I unfortunately started whale-tailing on the camera footage that they got.
Yeah, I mean, I
we were watching you from the press
I saw
box,
that, and I'm going,
just like flying.
yeah,
like,
I go,
wow.
Oh, yeah, I'm a sprinter.
Did she even warm up? I think she's going to pull a hamstring going out there running. You were in a full-blown sprint.
You know, the last 5 years, everything's kind of meshed together. So for me, that's the most recent story I can remember. But here we have practice taken back off after that red flag.
Right. Well, it looks like Bogle wants to get out here and do some damage. He's got a chance to.
He always does that during practice. He gets right out there, right in front, and I can't imagine the frustration that kid is holding right now. You know, he's constantly getting runner-up to Moskin, and you
ever look at him on the podium before he gets up on the podium? I kind of study the guys when they come in.
I look at all of them before they get on the podium, because they have to have a smile, you know, and they are just.
But if looks could kill on some of those rounds, he's by himself, and he's just beside himself that, you know, he had opportunities to win, and it just didn't present itself, and just I feel so bad for the guy.
Yeah, I know. I'm a very competitive girl. I can't imagine what these guys are going through, because this is their living. I'm not in a position of competition for a living. And, you know, these guys, they want to be the best. He's used to being the best. He has the #1 plate. He has a lot of pressure to live up to. And all he can do is the best that he can do. But right now it's you know, to find that golden tool that will just push him over the edge to get that win. And I mean, he only has 2 rounds left after this weekend to figure it out.
That's
so
exactly right.
Well, I know that he'll at least enjoy the satisfaction of 1 win before the season is over.
And a lot of things, you know, when Andy and I were down there on the podium, we have to pick who we're going to get first, because you want to get the guy that's most pissed, because he wants to leave.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do an interview with us. So I'm going, well, I don't know, this guy here, Andy, I think we better get this guy first. Because
how do you guys start off the interviews too? Do you you're like, listen, man. Yeah. Obviously, there's frustration on your face. How was it out there? You know, it's like
they put on, when we get the camera in front of them, they put on a smile.
Yeah,
they switch their face. But we do tell our camera guy Dave Rowan, hey, make sure you get some of that B-roll of him right now, because he is seriously pissed right now.
Yeah, you know, Yeah, these young
well,
men,
you
they
talk
are
about being
get
upset.
pissed.
Joey Savacci here on track had a podium finish last weekend and his bike let go. So, you know, talk about frustration with Mitch Payton's team this year. They've been so close. Bowers was close to winning on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Tonis gets sick. And now Savacci's the lone wolf over there, and he's got to carry the flag. I see a podium coming up for him very, very soon. He just needs to put it together.
It's so funny when I think of Savacci, Versace.
Versace's
that rap song, Versace.
That's his Twitter handle.
Yeah, he's very talented. You know, Mitch Payton, another, I mean, world renowned. I mean, everyone.
Winner.
Do you think people want to get pictures with me? You should see Mitch Payton rolling around out there in the pits. He's world renowned and just has these amazing champions. Unfortunately, like you said, not too much luck right now for the PC team, but he always has a way of rebounding and finding his next champion. So.
Well, he just put in a heater there and jumped up to second place. So Savacci looks really good. Let's update you on your top 5. It's Marvin Musquin, Joey Savacci, Jeremy Martin, Martin Davalos, and Justin Bogle are your top 5 right now with just under 2 minutes to go in 250 Group A qualifying number 2.
Yeah, another thing with Martin was on Pro Circuit, and the most consistent I've ever seen him do was on Pro Circuit. But unfortunately,
couple wins last year.
Yeah, you know, now he's not on Pro Circuit again, and starting to doesn't have that consistency. I don't know what Mitch is doing, what his magic serum is, or what his potion is, but he is definitely calling these guys every day and saying, "You better be on course today."
Well, we have another Twitter for you, Diana.
What was your first bike, Diana?
First off, I'm going to be very honest with you. Never owned a bike myself. It was always all the guys' bikes that I ride. Okay, I was the girl and the little girl in the family, so I could never have a dirt bike. I had a 50. That's a lie. I had a 50 when I was like 4 or 5 years old. Yeah. But then when I got older and I'm really into I'm a speed junkie. My dad just had a heart attack, and I got hurt a lot. Like I said, I had a broken collarbone. I was a gymnast, so I was getting hurt in gymnastics. My dad just had a heart attack, so he got me a quad, and I mean, I was riding the first year the Raptor came out, I want to say it was like 2000.
Yeah.
I had a brand new Raptor,
cool.
and I was only 10 years old. Before that, I rode a Banshee for like 3 years, so I've had a Banshee. I've been riding a very fast something with a motor, you know, wheels with motor, since I was a very little girl. Bikes. No, never owned one myself. Dad wouldn't let me, and then when I was 18, started working full time. But I have just always, whenever I'm around anyone with a dirt bike, I'm like, hey, let me ride your dirt bike. That's just how it is. Yeah.
Well, that's just how it is. Jeremy Martin did not make that main event last week, and he goes up to the top with a 53.3.
No, and then we have Musquin answer back with a 52.8.
As soon as you looked away, I was like, I know, I saw Musquin finishing his heater, and I was like, you might want to watch the end of this lap. But
you know, I know that Marvin's really excited to move up to the 450 class as well. He keeps on saying little things on the podium like, oh, I'm competing with all these young guys, and it's like, Marvin, you're 25. Please stop making me feel old. But yeah, he's one of the older ones here in the 250 class, and he's very eager to move up. And obviously, we can see that he is ready for that. I mean, his times are unreal.
You know, I wanted to ask you last week, we saw Jeremy Martin going into Indianapolis only 12 points down to Marvin Musquin and did not make that main event. You had to feel sorry for him.
Oh, man. It was just so bad watching him to go into that LCQ and then get that crash. Oh, God, painful. It's just such a shame when we see things like that happen. But, yeah, I mean, I can understand the frustration, but you bet it that I put a big bet on this evening that he's motivated, he's angry, he has a little bit of revenge maybe in his heart, and he's going to qualify right out of a heat.
Absolutely.
That's what my money is. That's where my money is for sure.
Not a bad bet. Checker flags out. Ashley Phillips is down here with Jeremy Martin. He was the second fastest qualifier.
A dominating factor here in this second round of qualifying as he gets a word with his mechanic. Let's get chat with him right now. Jeremy, how important was it for you to come out here and set a fast lap time after last week?
You know, I'm plenty good enough. I got second gate pick going into the heat race, so I'll be first heat. So, you know, just get out there, get a good start. And, you know, the main event, you got to be solid for 15 laps.
You know, this track seems to be changing each and every lap. How do you expect it to change throughout the night tonight?
Yeah, the track's going to change. I think the biggest thing is you got to be able to change with it. And, you know, good starts are key tonight. The track's a little tough to pass, so I think getting a good start, getting clear vision is the key to the race tonight.
How'd you put last week behind you and come back today and set this fast lap time?
Yeah, you know, last weekend's in the past already. I'll leave it for everyone else to talk about, and I've moved forward. I learned from my mistakes, so you know, I'm just here. I'm having fun, and you know, I just enjoy being in the atmosphere.
And that's exactly what makes you a championship contender. One more time for that number 6 machine, Yamalube Star Racing Yamaha rider Jeremy Martin will take 2nd qualifying position into tonight's program, but what a way to come back from last weekend's devastation.
Well, here we go, back on track. It's the biggest moment of our show here, the 450A qualifying number 2. We're going to see who's going to get the best gate pick for the main events tonight, or for their heat races rather, but that's Eli Tomac, who was the fastest the last time out.
Well, look who's out front. We're going to see Tomac there, but just ahead of him, the number 22.
Jumped out front again, didn't he?
Chad Reed. So we're seeing a little bit of a different resurgence now from Chad Reed on jumping into the practices and stuff.
And Tomac, you know, it's been a while. He only has 1 win this season. Coming into this season, how strong he was over in the overseas Supercross, I thought for sure that he was going to win more.
Well, he was one of those guys that we touted on who's next, and that was the thing. And, you know, he looked good at Anaheim, but he crashed in that main event.
Looks good right now, too. Wow. Hey, laboring a little bit there, but it's just testing out some things on the track before he lays down a flyer. And
yeah, that first one, first time practice form of 52.9. We'll see if he can drop that into the 51.
Now, what was Muskin there at the end of that last one? He was a
52.8.
52.8, yeah, so.
And you know, we saw it last week. I mean, Muskin had the fast time all the way until that last time practice in the 450 where we saw Eli Tomac nip him. But, you know, sometimes in the past, sometimes those 250s are faster in those time practices.
Absolutely. Well, in the early going, it is Eli Tomac followed by Ryan Dungey and Chad Reed as their opening laps of this final qualifying session come to fruition here in Detroit. I want to take a moment and thank our sponsors. AMSOIL is the official oil of Loretta Lynn's, AMSOIL Arena Cross, and Monster Energy Supercross. It's not only the official oil, AMSOIL products have been tested in the most extreme conditions at the track and on the trail to ensure they are formulated for superior dirt bike performance. Get out front performance, get AMSOIL.
Well, there's Tomac now right behind Chad Reed there, and as they go through the whoop section there, they're going to hit that triple, head into the sand. After the sand, they got that little double, and then the Monster Energy finish line there. 7:40 left in that time practice, and look who's lurking in third, the Diesel.
It's right there, yeah.
And they all slowed down. They said, whoa, wait a minute, we're going to stop this train here. Chad's kind of standing up, just saying, I don't want, you followed me enough. I don't want to show you any lines.
Well, he's about a half a second slower than Tomac so far in the early going here, but Tomac is only just about a 100th faster than Dungey. Those, you know, Tomac with a 53.97 and Dungey with a 54 flat. And then Kyle Partridge is their 4th fastest qualifier here in the early going with a 54.9. That's pretty impressive there from Kyle. He's been riding really good lately.
199 there, and there you're going to see number 12. Weimer. And you look at Partridge last weekend, you know, a 16th form, so not too bad. I'm sure, you know, sitting in the points there, he's sitting 24th, but a couple rounds, you know, he didn't make that. Anaheim, the second time around, Anaheim 3 missed both of those, and Atlanta 1. Those are, you know, that's what kills you in the points. I mean, you got to stay consistent. If you're a 3-digit guy like a Travis, you know, Travis Preston, not Travis Preston, Kyle Partridge, Adam Enticknap and all those guys, and I'm going to see Vicky Golden clocked in 46th fastest, so Vicky Golden not going to make history here tonight in Detroit.
Yeah, missed it by about a second and a half, so not too far off. Last guy was a 102.7 and she was a 104.2. Pretty close. You know, she's going to keep swinging and keep trying, but right now, speaking of keep swinging, Cole Seeley, well, I spoke too soon. Trey Canard is your fastest qualifier here with about 6 minutes to go. Trey Canard has a 53.3, followed by his teammate Cole Seeley with a 53.7. Another Honda is your 3rd quickest with a 53.9, followed by Dungey and Brock Tickle. Good to see Tickle in the top 5.
Yeah, and they still got a lot of time. 5:34 left here. you know, I think those times might drop there. You're seeing a lot of guys, Trey Canard especially, going around, as we're watching Dungey here on the screen, but going around that outside where they come by the mechanics, searching for a little bit of traction, a little bit of cushion. I noticed that section starting to push out a little bit. When we watch Dungey here, he's coming up to it. He's going into the whoops here. We'll watch Dungey. You land there, and then right here, you'll see him start to push out a little bit more than in that first time practice, and they're searching for traction out there.
Oh. I agree, Jim. Yeah, the track's changing quite a bit. Oh, goes down. Looks like he just lost the front end there. No big deal. But once again, your top 5, Canard, Reed, Seeley, Anderson, and Blake Baggett are your top 5 going right now with 5 minutes to go.
We're going to take a look at Seeley here, just exactly how he lost that front end. Just
pushed it a little bit.
Just lost the front end. I think that what happened in there, and that's happened before to you, Andy, as well as myself, I think, you get in there and you start, but there's a guy ahead of you.
Yeah.
If you grab a handful,
you're
going to run into that guy. So you just kind of like, I'll just do a little, you know, drop down here.
But you fall over. No big deal. No worse for the wear. He's still the 4th fastest qualifier here. And this about halfway through the qualifying session in 450 qualifying number 2.
There's Partridge right there. Looking good. I mean, he's tall, lanky, reminds me of Mike Bell. Look at it, just going right through the whoops. No problem there.
Hey, look at Ryan Dungey. Jumps to the top, 52.7.
Yeah, every time you think that Ryan Dungey's out, you kind of think, well, maybe is the Orange Crush going to stop or whatever. He just steps it up, you know, with 3 minutes and 51 seconds left here, and he just kind of shuts everybody down like, hey, guys, I'm the one leading this championship by 45 points. I'm still the man.
Yeah. The funniest thing I've heard lately is that Dungey doesn't have the speed of Tomac and Canard. I'm like, I don't know if you're watching the same thing I'm watching.
Yeah, he's got the speed now.
Definitely has the speed and 3 wins in a row to boot.
I think some of those guys are looking at it in that heat race maybe last weekend when he got that 4, saying he doesn't have the speed. Well, he had the speed in the main event. You know, Dungey's the type of a guy, he'd be a great poker player. He's got a poker face out there. He's not going to show you all his cards, I don't think, in practice. He holds a little bit back for that main event.
When the pay window's open, Ryan Dungey's ready. So, yeah.
Blake Baggett there, not having a good weekend last week, but Weston Pike, my boy Weston. I went up to him today, talking to him. I was all excited. He goes, man, you're always excited. I go, man, I'm excited for you. Yeah. I can't wait till you get your first podium and your first win. I mean, you're so close.
Weston Pike, you know, he's a privateer guy, and they finally, you know, people ask, what could Weston Pike do with a factory ride? Well, I'll tell you what he can do. Get hole shots, lead laps, and battle for wins and podiums. So it's step by step. We need to get Weston up on the podium there. But right now, he just dropped a bomb on this qualifying session. 52.6. Oh. Well, there's Tomac, 52.5.
Unbelievable. 52.5. So clearly, that's the fastest so far. 52.9 for Tomac, and he dropped it down to a 52.5 right now, so he's shaved about 4/10 off of the time practice here. You still got 2 minutes to go. I'm not going to write it down because you never know what's going to happen.
I just love the final qualifying session of the day. It's so intense, and right now the top 7 are separated by 1 second. You know, it's a second and a half separated between the top 10. It's gonna shake up. We still got a minute and a half to go here. Tomac's the heat right now. He's got a 52.5, 52.6, 52.7. Look at that. These guys, you could throw a blanket over the top 5. The top 5 is Tomac, Pike, Dungey, Canard, and Reed.
Yeah, and I don't want to sound like a broken record or when Jeff Emming's talking on Fox Sports 1, but you talk about that start. When you have times like that, it's the guy who gets out in front. And, you know, if you get out 6th or 7th and you got guys that are running that close, it's very hard to make up that time.
It's impossible with this group. If those guys start in front of you and you have to, you don't get with them on the 1st or 2nd lap, you're not going to catch them.
Well, it looks like Weston Pike might be on a heater right now. He's just chomping at the bit. We'll see when he comes around here.
You know what the thing about Weston, he's a bulldog and he's a big burly guy, but look how smooth he is. He has great technique. I'm really impressed with that.
Yeah, I think you got to attribute that to, Buddy Anthonez has been helping out a lot.
Yeah.
We talked to a lot of the guys, they did that piece on Fox Sports 1. One of the guys they left out was Steve Lampson. Steve Lampson works over there with Jeremy Martin and Cooper Webb at the Star Yamaha Yamalube Racing team with Alex Rodriguez there, and
right.
Aaron Plessinger. So, you know, Steve Lamson doing a bang-up job over there.
Absolutely. You know, Lammy was one of my favorite 125 riders of all time. So it's yeah, maybe they just missed him a little bit. Simple oversight, but you know, the fans know that Lammy's one of the best ever. He's a Motocross the Nations legend, and Steve Lamson, he knows where he stands with the fans in this sport.
Yeah, it was interesting when Cooper Webb, I talked to Cooper Webb's mom, and she's a school teacher, and she came up to me, and we got a chance to talk to in Atlanta, and she said when they went over to Japan, and Steve Lamson went over there also, that, you know, Steve Lamson had a longer line. You know, I go,
yeah.
Well, you know, the Japanese fans over there, they know they're old riders.
Well, the checker flag's out. They're going to be going down here to talk to Lurch. It might be Tomac or Weston Pike. Tomac is the fastest. Top 5, Tomac, Pike, Dungey, Canard, Reed. Sometimes Lurch likes to grab the second place guy. That would be Weston, but
he might grab Weston.
Yeah. It was a very exciting qualifying session there. You know, all those guys were the fastest at one point in time, the top 5. Dungey was the fastest at one point in time, but Tomac, again, leads both qualifying sessions. Here we go, down to Lurch. Whenever...
you talk about it there with Tomac, that 52.5, Weston Pike a 52.6, and Dungey a 52.7. So,
close.
I mean, I don't know. Our picks are going to be so hard today. I know that it's crazy. I know our buddy Kurt Binke, he's going to go with Dungey. And
here's Weston.
Yep, he's going down there, going to talk to Lurch there. Lurch is getting his camera set up. But
ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the 23autotrader.com JGR Toyota Yamaha Weston Pike, only 1/10 off the fastest qualifying time. Improvements each and every week. Congratulations on a great qualifying run.
Yeah, thank you. You know, the track's shaping up really well, getting real ruddy, and the lines are starting to form good. And my JGR Yamaha Auto Trader bike is just working really good right now. We made a few changes in practice, and looking forward to getting out there for the heat race and the main event. So,
you know, when you talk about the main events, we've seen you work through some pain. Where are we at? 100? Are we 100% ready to go tonight?
Yeah, I'm feeling 100% back, ready to go. So, looking forward to getting out there and getting those 20 laps done. So.
Ladies and gentlemen, second fastest qualifier of the day. Let's give it up for the 23autotrader.com Toyota Yamaha of Weston Pike.
Impressive, man. I'm super impressed with Weston right there.
You know,
second fastest.
I think I might have to put him on a podium. I think I might have to go with him on my picks as a third.
Well, we talked to a lot of these guys earlier in the day, and then we were talking about some guys we thought were going to be on that podium. So let's go down there and check out interviews we did earlier in the day. Here they come.
Jim Hawley, Race Day Live, presented by AMSOIL. Well, Blake Baggett, I got to ask you, man, last week I watched that front end get out, and you were kind of caught underneath that motorcycle.
Yeah, definitely. Just washed the front wheel out, and the way it kind of flipped down, it just landed on top of me, and nothing I could do. I was just pinned underneath it, and you know, had to lay there for a lap until somebody came and helped me get out of underneath it, because the wheel was spinning, so there's no way I could have pushed on it, because I'd have put my hand right in the rear wheel.
I got to ask you, you had a chance to walk the track here in Detroit, Ford Field. Seems a little bit wet. The Feld track crew, they had to get the water in it, but it looks like it might be a pretty technical track tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It's got 2 really technical lanes, so we'll see. It's good for you know, a change up, and then goes up in the stand, so that'll be cool for something different. And I think it's going to be fast, but probably some technical sections to it.
All right, I got to ask you. Last week I was watching. You know, we were doing Race Day Live, and I'm seeing, and boom, you come together with Anderson. What happened on that? Just a practice incident?
Yeah, just got out of hand. So. Yeah, it's the past, and let bygones be bygones, so just move forward.
It might have been hard for you, though. I mean, I saw Gallagher talking to you, and then all of a sudden you went out for that next one, he pulled you in again. What was that about?
Yeah, he just he pulled us off for that practice, so just it is what it is.
Just move on from it.
Move on from it.
It's Detroit. Here you're going to get your first your first indoor podium, because you've had your first podium, and that was in Daytona, but you want an indoor one.
Yeah, for sure. That's the goal tonight, is to try to be steady and get on the box.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but last year when you were here in the 250, I think you were here third.
I think so, somewhere in there.
I did my homework.
All right.
Jim Hawley, Race Day Live, presented by AMSOIL. Well, I'm here with Jason Anderson, the man that runs that factory Husky number 21. I got to ask you, you had that streak going. It was round, always in the top 10. You've had a podium this year. You had second at the opener at Anaheim, but last weekend, not a good weekend for you.
Yeah, it was definitely one of my toughest weekends so far, but yeah, just gonna try and just keep working and moving forward, and hopefully be riding good this weekend.
I got to ask you, you talked about how hard the weekend was. It started in practice. You got moved out of the way by Blake Baggett, and then you had to go through the semi, and you had to make a last last corner pass to get that Husky into the main event out of the semi.
Yeah, I mean, just all around it was kind of a difficult night for me, and you know, just trying to come here this weekend and hopefully get a better practices in, and get some better racing in, and hopefully be up there with the front guys.
What was going through your mind when you got hit by Baggett there after? I mean, did you go, man, where'd that come from?
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that, because it was kind of came out of nowhere. So yeah, I don't know what he was thinking. He was just kind of being an idiot out there. So, but we, yeah, I mean, just try and regroup and just focus on myself, and come out this weekend swinging, and hopefully put that number 4 behind me.
Something I noticed that you've been struggling a little bit with, that I saw earlier in the season. You had great starts. It seems like when we moved east, you're having a little problem getting that Husky out of the hole.
Yeah. My starts haven't been where they should be, and just need to figure out how to get up front right away.
Andy Boyer with Race Day Live, presented by Amsoil. We're here with Vicky Golden. Vicky, it was a really special weekend last weekend, almost.
Yeah, super close. We can't really get any closer, so hopefully this weekend just do what we did last weekend and just kind of bring up the intensity here in some spots, and that should be what makes it happen this weekend.
How's the track look to you?
It's good. We got to ride a little bit on press day, and what little we did ride was actually really good. I felt comfortable and just feel like I'm riding how I should be and how I have been at home, and showing really how I'm supposed to be riding, and that's just pumping me up just to ride even better.
Talk about, I mean, it's tough. You need to put in one hot lap, you know, and you got to work up to it. So talk to us about how you kind of break the track down, get the jumps, then the whoops. How's your plan of attack to just try to get your fast lap?
Really just try and get it all done in first practice, and then just after that, you know what you need to work on instead of trying to figure things out. And I think previously, one, we were just having so many problems, and then trying to figure out the track out on top of that it just wasn't working, and I wasn't doing anything till second to last practice. So this past weekend, I just felt good and just did everything I needed to do, started putting in laps in first practice, so that's really what counted. And then I could, after that, just work on what I needed to work on, and just, like I said, bring up the intensity, so we're just putting in fast laps and not worried about anything else.
Well, we saw you last weekend in the tunnel. You had your gear on. You were 6/100ths out. But I know you don't want to get in by 6/100ths. You don't want to get in because somebody went down. You want to get in on a legit lap, right?
For sure. I mean, my bank account would have been bummed, but you know, that's for sure not the way. My first one, you know, I want to make it in fair and square, and that's how it should be. I mean, it would have been nice to get a little extra track time, just because, like I said, I was feeling good and wanted to ride some more. But you know, that's definitely not how we should make the first one happen. So we don't want to get in by any technicalities. We just want to get in straight up and go racing.
Well, you heard it right here from Vicky Golden. She can make history on Race Day Live at Detroit, round 12. And here we are. We've reached the end of our show. It's one of my favorite parts of the show that we always do. It's going to be our picks for tonight, and judging by qualifying, it's going to be one of the toughest weekends ever. I don't know who to pick, but I've already got my picks written down.
You do? You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I think it's my turn to go first.
All right.
Yeah, but I think that Dungey's going to do it. I think he's going to win 4 in a row. Wow. And our producers just told us that actually Ryan Villapoto finished last season with 4 wins in a row. So thanks for that. Ryan Dungey, the diesel's going to keep rolling. He looks too good. He's just feeling it right now. And when you got that much confidence going on, second place I think is going to be Trey Canard. Trey's riding really good. Needs to get a little bit better start. I think we're going to see a battle, though. I think Trey Canard's going to be second, and I think Cole Seeley is going to keep it rolling. And Cole Seeley's going to be the round out the podium in the 450 class.
All right, my 450 picks. Kurt Benke, he's going to go with Dungey again, and he's going to go with Marvin Muskin in the 250 class. But I'm going to go with Eli Tomac. I just think that Eli's, he looks good today. He looked good last week, but I don't think he makes a mistake. I think he gets the win tonight. I think that second, that's going to be the diesel, Dungey. I think he's gonna maintain that second, and hang on and keep the podium streak alive. He's only missed 1 podium, and that was at the opener. And then I'm going to put Weston Pike for his first podium of his career. I think that Trey Canard's you know, going to have the bad starts, I think, you know, again, but I'm going to put Pike in third. And then I'm going to transition over to that 250 class.
Right.
I'll go first in the 250 because you went first in the 450.
Be my guest, brother.
I think Marvin Muskin. He just looks too strong. I think that you got to go with Marvin to win. And second, I think it's going to be Bogle again. And third, I think Jeremy Martin. You know, he's going to get back up onto the box. That's going to be my pick. But, you know, with that being said, you know, Dungey still could win tonight and keep that KTM Orange Crush rolling with him and Marvin Muskin. We'll see. Who do you got for the 250s?
No, like you just said, Jim, the Orange Crush is going to keep rolling. Those guys are too on it right now. There's too much confidence flowing. Marvin Muskin's going to win again. It's going to be 4 in a row for both of those guys, in my opinion. Second place in the 250 class is going to be Joey Savacci. I think he's really going to ride well tonight. He's really fired up after losing the motor last weekend. And third place, I think, is going to be Justin Bogle. He's just going to keep charging out and pumping out those podiums. Jeremy Martin, I don't know. I want to put him in there, but after missing the main event last weekend, I just don't know if he's going to rebound that hard and get into the podiums. But those are my picks. But everyone, we want to remind you guys, coming up on Fox Sports 1 is going to be our broadcast tonight at 7 p.m. We've had a tremendous show. Want to thank all of our guests. We had a huge lineup of guests this week. Kevin Windham, Nick Way, Brock Tickle, Diana Dahlgren, Raul Venegas, Jean-Michel Bayle came here on Race Day Live. That's going to be a landmark thing for me.
You learned a lot about Jean-Michel myself.
Absolutely. You guys were buddies and stuff, and it's great. You know, Christina, Denny, all of our guests. We want to thank all of our sponsors, MMI, AMSOIL, DC Shoes, Yamaha. Couldn't do it without you. It's going to be a great race tonight, Jim.
Yeah, and don't forget about next weekend. St. Louis will be there, and hopefully Jeff Ward will be on the show. Andrew Short.
Yeah, Cole Seeley. Maybe Denny Stevenson. Yeah. So it's just going to get better from here on out as we close out this series. Tune in tonight, Fox Sports 1. We'll see you in St. Louis.